है वस्ल हिज्र आलम तमकीन व ज़ब्त में माशूक शोख व आशिके दीवाना चाहिए। उस लब से मिले उस लब से मिल ही जाएगा बोसा कभी तो हाँ, शौक फजूल और ज़रूरत इस रिंदाना चाहिए। आशिक नकाब जलवाए जानना चाहिए, फानूस शाम को पर ये परवाना चाहिए। So it is always good to begin a program with, Ghalib's couplet. So I welcome you all onto the threshold of Sheetalnath Conversation. This is your host, Jugal Koul. If you recognize me, it has been a long journey together. 2.5 years, we are just having a rendezvous on every Sunday, mostly Sunday. Some Sundays we have missed. And you are witnessing our Sunday evening, 7 p.m. IST regular show. This is our 97th historic show, and it gives me a great, immense pleasure. I really appreciate, value, admire all of you for gluing into today's program, and you have been with an associate with us this 2.5 years. So, in a way, the history of Shitalnath conversation is incomplete without you, without all of you, connecting to this conversation throughout the world. And we have been ambling through, different shades of past centuries and millennia, and we have been going through different phases and different times. It was a very chilling day here, and we are our all dwellings, poor dwellings, are engulfed with the fog and foam all over. Just today morning, I was just driving through the main road, but I could not just visualize even a single light or anything around. So it was totally as if you are lost in a sea of foam, sea of mist, and it appeared that we are almost in a sea. We don't know where to go and which direction to move in. So this somewhere denotes the significance of nature. When we fiddle the nature, nature reciprocates. But nature has its own wonderful bounties because human is in entropy with nature. Even is in complementary to nature, because nature has created human. So nature is an interface between God and the man. So that is how it is, and I feel once again I am indebted. I appreciate all of you, all the valuable people joining on today's show, and we have been, going through all the phases, all the lanes of the centuries and millennia of this great civilization, which is part of this entire conglomerate civilization, Oriental civilization, which was always had lived as a beacon of light. It has been, this, the crown, the cradle, the cathedral, and in a way, ambassador of this Oriental civilization. People from here went into the Central Asia, the Far East, Southeast, to the Asia, Rhodesia, and they have made this understanding of this Oriental wisdom to travel to very very far terrains. So Kashmir is always it appears to be a very small place, 30 by 60 or 60 by 40 dimensions, nestled in the right part of the Himalayas in a lap. But it has its significance. It's like a beacon. It has always remained a beacon, and an interface with the world, to Central Asia and other countries. And Kashmiris, wherever you have gone, wherever we have gone, in our own country, India, or abroad, we have shown our strength and capabilities, because somewhere down the line we were part of this blessed land. And but yes, there was a phase in between, because our ancient past is very glorious and our recent past is also very glorious. In between we had the great kingdoms like Badshah, Zainul Abidin Sahab, who is worth remembering, but rest, all of them were the foreign rulers who came down and ruled Kashmir. Even Yusuf Shachak was a foreign ruler. They were all from Central Asia, some Turks and some other people who, whatever the reason, they came. So that way, in a way, we were ruled by the foreigners, irrespective of our religion. This 500 years were the age of tormentation, and we all, irrespective of our religion, caste, creed, color, have been tormented. So, but then again, finally, the Dogra rule came, and independent Kashmir, under the leadership of Sheikh Saab, and then the story goes on and on and on. I'm not a political commentator, but I was just trying to connect to where lied the fault lines, where we got rejected, where people just belittled us for a long period of 5 years. But yes, yeah, again, we are the great race, great people of the Orient of our country, India, that we still do wonders after we got the kind of an atmosphere, kind of an environment. So we have always bloomed everywhere. So, having said that, I would like to say that today I was planning to have a book talk, and it has been long that we didn't have a book talk. And book talk is a very wonderful because we are picking up very selective books on Shitalath conversations. I cannot. There are thousands of books written every day, and they are left into the places where they are being, inaugurated, or where they're being where the debate happens about that book. But then again, nobody reads these books, and most of these books are. I should not be judgmental. They don't go. They don't delve deep into the genesis of any subject, and they are more like cut, copy, paste. And it is an easy time. Book reading is also out of fashion nowadays. But today we are also going to say something about. I'm going to tell you something about. Before I begin, I want to take you in a very lighter tone, as it's a Indian movie song. Uh, जैसा दिल कहाँ मिलेगा आओ तुमको दिखलाता हूँ पेरिस की एक रंगी शाम देखो 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 an evening in Paris. So that's how it was. The An Evening in Paris, everybody must have known. It was a time. It was a time when actually, uh, just a minute. It was a time actually when probably we were born. It was in the early 1960s when these films were shot, and it was a Shamila Tagore and Shami Kapoor's part of shooting was done in Kashmir as well. So it gives a romanticism between man and the woman, and the Paris is at the backdrop. So it gives a very enthralling music and something like that. But today, why I played this musical tune, it was just to give an idea and an impression that we are today going towards the France. We are going to explore the France. And we today have, besides a book read, we also have a travelogue, because we also go through the chronicles, go to the travelogues, go to the treatises from ancient to the modern. And today we are going to talk about a modern travelogue. And this travelogue is going to unravel this wonderful country of France. France has always been a great place, Napoleon Bonaparte, and all these great people, Vincent van Gogh, Jean Paul Sartre, Picasso, you know, uh, many people like this Albert Camus, and all wonderful people have they have come from the France, and they have given the philosophers, the writers, the intellectuals, the painters, and many of the painters from all over the world have gone to the France, because France had this culture from ancient times about respecting the art, and it is a city of classical heritage, and classical this classical museums, and the lakes and the wines, and the cuisines, and the people are wonderful. I look for the French people, on their exteriors they look very chiseled out. This is what I have found always, and we had the best possible films in the France. So we are going to talk about France from the point of view of one of the great authors who is today who's a guest today, and who has been on the Shitalath conversations earlier also. He is one of the most accomplished blogger of our state, and whose blog runs in millions across the globe, and whose authenticity of this blog, I mean, is so much cherished and loved by the people from all walks of life, because it is a very widespread blog, and he touches all the genres, from politics to literature to music to culture to anecdotes, and to stories, to travelogues. So I'm talking about none other than the person himself, who is very well known to us, all of us. That is Avtar Mota ji. Avtar Motaji, who doesn't know Avtar Motaji? Avtar Motaji's blogs are an inspiration. They are the data line for the researchers, and he has a very, very unique way of, approaching a subject. He's never loaded with a preconceived thought or a judgment, like all the people normally have a tendency to. They go with they approach any subject with a preconceived thought and whatever they have been taught, but he does it from the very zero balance of his mind, and then finally he researches over it very meticulously, and then he puts and pours in his wonderful words and wonderful writing style into the blog and into the articles, which are glore gross. He has written from newspapers, magazines, souvenirs, and he's a wonderful traveler. He's probably a wanderer, inquisitive person in search of something, and give back something which is the Oriental tradition. Give back something back to the world, because at the end of the day, we normally go back to that. We feel in the Orient, and rather in the all spiritual traditions in its most refined disposition, we feel that we have to give back to the world. Gone are the times now. I mean, we fool around and tell everybody that I have done this, I have done this, I have done this. More so nowadays, it's very, very frequent. But he is a person who tries to bring you the entire panorama, the entire scenic of a particular subject in which he is moving into, in which he is divulging into. So that is something great about him, and he's been a very wonderful author, and his books are very famous. His first book was probably this butterfly and thunderstorms and butterflies, something like that, and it is a wonderful book. I have read it, and we have also reviewed it here on the show. It's a wonderful book about the stories and anecdotes and all those characters we have lived around, our seniors, our elders have lived around. Like I remember that dude, how everywhere we had some kind of a dude, and many people, the milkmaid, the other things, the day to day, the characters moving around into our day to day, we define the culture. So that is something very great. That book was very great. And then he had another wonderful book which hit the stars and which is very popular and documented. It's about the art history, but it's also about the rebel, that painter, great painter from Kashmir, Bansipad Musab, and who's it's about this landscape and the lament, something like that. That is the title. And then we have this the books you might not have read. That, see how much pain Avtarji takes into bringing up all the wonderful books. Most of them are very popular ones, and just making a précis out of it and having review out of it, very honest review, and give you a complete cinemascopic glance of that particular book, because he knows that this time, no, in these times nobody reads. The reading habit has gone out of our, not only youngsters, we blame youngsters, even elders don't read. They are all into the gadgets. We all, including me. So that is how it is. He is bringing forth and attracting you towards giving a précis of these, some of these books which should have been read. So then again, the essays which could change your life, which will change your belief. Belief is something, it's a concoction. It's a cocoon in which we are fit, and if we don't cut that cocoon, we don't puncture that cocoon, we are going to be stuck there like a silkworm. And I think that the purpose of life is to, as Vivekananda says, the purpose of life is to expand your consciousness, come out of that cocoon. So I think beliefs are something, as I may say it in our Kashmiri folk, everybody says that we are from the family of Jagirdars. And when I read uh, this Lawrence, I find that there was only one Kashmiri Pandit or a Kashmiri Tahsildar among the 10 Tahsildars. And there were very, 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 very few people. These 500 years had literally devastated all Kashmiri Muslims and Hindus and all cultures in Kashmir. Mughals had even taken the knives out of us, and Afghans had brutally assassinated and took the women out of Kashmir, irrespective of caste, creed, and culture. There no religious biases were there. They're following a particular religion, but it had nothing to do with the Kashmir. They treated Kashmiris like slaves. But after 500 years, we had Dogra rule, who were the God-fearing people. They built the institutions, and light came in, and then the independent Kashmir when Sheikh Saab came in, and then later on all politicians, and gradually these things happen. And now everybody is affluent, everybody is moving around. But this misnomer that we are all Jagirdars, this falls apart when we read literature, when we put I mean, puncture that cocoon. So beliefs are there, something we need to have a fresh look, and we have to be very objective about our belief system. So that is how it is, and I feel that yesterday we had the Lohri, and Lohri is a festival nearing Makar Sankranti. It gives you a glimpse of now say goodbye to the winter in this part of the country, in the northern part of the country, and in southern we have the Pongal, and in Pongal also they burn everything. The burning is a symbolic of something, the burden we have. That burden is to be taken away and live a fresh life, like a budding flower. And Kashmir, we have slightly later the spring comes in, and we have this budding flower season of this badam fly. We call it badam fly. That white flowers cropping all over, and the meander, the gregarious look of those trees, those avenues is so fascinating. It has been there since our grandfathers used to. I've seen it in the books, but it still can be observed. That patch of the Kashmir is still safe. We can visualize that. So that's how I'm explaining, and congratulate all of you for a new year, the Pongal and the Lodi and the departure of the winter, and now the spring is at our door. Spring is beautiful, uh, you know, like autumn is another spring, but spring has its own connotations, and it is fresh. It gives the and an immaculate fascination about the life, the freshness of life, uh, aroma of life, the fragrance of life. So today we are going to talk about the travelogues, and we are going to talk about this book. And this book is in my hand, and I have almost read it. And you can see this Shikara in the Frozen Lake. This is a book written by Avtar Mota ji, who's our guest today. And as per the title, I don't know. I mean, as Nadim Saab's son, who recently unfortunately expired, I mean, he went for the spiritual abode, and he said he always used to tell me that in my program, in one of my programs, he came and he said, when we were discussing that Supak Male Lagai Per, that particular poetry of Nadim Saab. He said that this is about this horse thinking about this journey. I said no, but it appears that third person is watching horse and his journey. Then he said one thing, that great thing about the great literature is that it can be interpreted by many at different planes. So that is how the great and wonderful literature is all about. So for that matter, we like to now. I don't want to bore you any more further. I will just like to bring in our guest for today, my dear friend. One of the he has been awarded, rewarded many a times. Recently, he has won Samapa Award also. His books are he has many books in the pipeline. Probably he's doing a great job and bringing his blog together in this book, and especially these subjects are about the Kashmir. He has written for, I mean, for many many places. It's not about the place, I mean, place limitation. It goes beyond the places. He writes beyond the places, beyond the towns, beyond the cities. But then again, this book is about Kashmir, and I think it has two sections. One section is about that is about the tribute to the great personalities from Kashmir, known, unknown, unsung heroes, and then again along with that is the he has the second part is the recollection of a growing Avtar Mota as he saw the people around, as you saw the Wagyu seller, as you saw the other people. And, though all these things, all these characters are there in our mind because Kashmir was so dense in cultural buoyancy that these things are somewhere down the line in our hearts. So let's welcome Avtar Motaji in our show with great warm heart and great, great respects and reverence. Avtaji, you are welcome into the Sheetalnath Conversations 97th show.
Namaskar.
It's a great pleasure to
Thank you.
have you again.
Thank you. It's equally a great pleasure. I'm sorry we couldn't connect earlier. The program got delayed due to some connectivity issues. I would like to express my gratitude to you for inviting me and also say that you are doing a wonderful work through this platform because I think hardly any person remains from the intellectual and cultural arena of Kashmir who has not been brought over here. Thank you once again. I would wish everybody a very happy new year. And at the same time, I would request my readers to kindly read the books, not my book only, other books also. There is a wonderful book recently that has come from Dr. Tamiri about the tribal raids in Kashmir.
Oh yeah,
Please
that's a
read it.
fresh.
Yes,
It's a
it's a
fresh.
new book. Please read these books. These books, somebody's labor of love. It is, and many facts have been documented well. It is not a balancing of facts.
Okay.
Truth as it is. He has presented. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Avtarji. Thank you. I would like to start with the Bertrand Russell's, the first note from which your book starts in your preface. That is, he says, the three passions, simple but overwhelmingly strong, have governed my life: longing for love, the search for knowledge, and unbearable pity of suffering of mankind. Uh, just I would like to ask as a friend and rather a co-conversationalist that somewhere down the line this essence has traveled to the Avtarji, and
Surely.
Avtarji's lifescape till now. How has he dealt with his life from the prism of what this quote says? So please let you elucidate about your life journey in terms of development of an author, a blogger, a researcher, a traveler, and somewhere down the line you wanted to give to the world. What is this all the personality of the person known as Avtar Mota, whom we all know through different dimensions, through different interfaces?
My name is Avtar Mota. Mota is the nickname. It's a
Okay.
nickname allotted to us. I don't know how and when, but we are actually Butts. The Mota clan comes from Kulgam area. Maybe 200 years before we came down to Chinkramola and settled over there. There are three, four houses in Chinkramola. I actually belong to that area, but I was not born in that area. My father was born there. My father shifted to Ranavari. I was born there only. I was brought up. I studied in Ranavari. So Ranavari is the place that I know, that I love, that I lived, that I grew up, that I became familiar with. As far as Chinkram Mola is concerned, maybe the Motas lived very close to the house of G.R. Santosh, where actually Santosh lived. Very
Bravo.
close to the Sufi poet, Kashmiri Sufi poet, uh, and Makhalal Saraf. There are many Sufi poets in that area, dramatists, playwrights, actors. So maybe directly, indirectly, I don't know. This influences traveled to Motas. Eh, My father, my uncle, a little literary taste they had, but circumstances did not warrant to development of that taste. I can't say that we belong to a group called Piram Sultan. Those were very ordinary people. My father was a clerk, very simple. I studied in the DAV school, Ranavari, struggled hard uh, at a time, lived with only one shirt as my uniform. I will
Oh
tell you
yes.
one day my school bag fell into the river in Ranavari Mer area, and I tore my shirt. So I couldn't go to school for 2 3 days because I didn't have a uniform. And I told my mother I will not go to school without uniform. That great lady bought white cloth on credit and stitched a shirt, cut it by hand. We didn't have that
Oh
stitching
my
machine, and stitched the shirt tonight. And when she served us food, I could see bruises in her fingers
God.
that the
You know,
needle gave.
that is one part of the anecdote also. You explained it
Yes, yes,
somewhere.
that is the story. So we belong to that family. We belong to that family. I will not say Pedram Sultan. We were very rich. We had that. But we studied, had good from childhood. I started reading books, for buying them. Somebody gave 10 rupees. Somebody gave 2 rupees. Any guest coming to our house, my masi, my father's sister, I would only buy books, Western books, and
Albert
buy them.
Camus was your favorite author, I suppose.
Yes, in the college, Kamu became a favorite. There's hardly anything that has been written by Kamu that I study. Between Kamu and Jean Paul Sartre, Kamu I preferred. Kamu was
Okay.
easily accessible. You could relate to him. Kamu was simple. You could understand him. Sartre was very tough. I bought a
Sorry,
book. Uh,
abstract.
Yes, it was tough. It was very. You had to stop at a sentence, listen, read it again and again, and then you could understand. In the college, then we had many Bazme Adab. I became a member of the Bazme Adab, started contributing to the college magazine Partap, and so on. We had an English teacher, Ghulam Nabi Firak. He was a well-known poet, Kashmiri poet. Besides teaching us English, he would recite Kashmiri poet. So a taste developed for the Kashmiri poetry, for the Urdu poetry, for the Hindi poetry, for literature, for Kamu. Especially Kamu was my favorite. Kamu, and for anything that came my way, I would read newspapers also. I would read the advertisements also. That's how it developed. And finally, one day I said goodbye. Enough reading. Now I have to write it. I have to write whatever I say. Then, of course, photography I liked, uh, and
You
then
were a
traveling.
photographer also, and you were doing a very I mean very preoccupied job of a bank officer. I think
Yes,
it
I
takes
was
you.
busy in the bank right from very tough job in the bank. Sometimes I was a manager, then senior manager, then chief manager, then posted as head of the retail credit. Too much of work, too much. But in the evening, I would definitely devote 2.5 hours to my hobby, writing, noting whatever I saw, and that noting those diaries, they came handy when I retired from the bank. The literature that I created came from those diaries only.
That's so. And Mota Sahab, tell us a bit something about your college days and some teachers and you know a bit
I
about
said,
some
as I said,
excursion. Mhm.
excursion we used to go to Pahalgam, Gulmarg, and one day to Daksum, but not much. I gained any experience after those excursions because we had to take. Yes, one thing more in excursions we had to tell we I have to go to excursion. It was decided very late that because the family didn't have so much of money that you could spend
Resources were
10 to
less.
resources were less. We have the moment excursion was declared in the college, you have to go to excursion, you have to deposit 25 rupees as bus fare. Then it was a problem. I would go to my place, start weeping. Who will pay me 25 rupees? 25 rupees. Then father or mother would say, okay, okay, you go now. You have enough of it. Then I would be happy. They would buy something, some paneer, something food, and a tiffin would be given to us. But only we were busy in eating that, nothing beyond that.
And
Then college, SP College was a hub of cultural activities. Many people would come during summers, especially Professor Nazir Khan. Uh, then Professor was the principal under whom I studied. I have very fond memories of him. Very fond memories of him, because the day of our admission, I went to him. I had a friend Khurshid. He told me he gives full concession to fees. You go, just make a face, weeping face. They say I am poor. I also went inside and said, Sir, I am poor. In Kashmir, I am very poor. My family can't afford this. 75 or 80 rupees was the annual fee. They can't afford it. Or maybe around 100 rupees. 100 rupees I had to get. He said, okay, 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 pay something. Deposit 30 rupees only. The rest that remained, I bought books. And the Khurshid was after me, come let us have chola pakodi at chola and Batura at some hotel, Shakti Sweets, all that. So I bought books also. But Nazir Ahmad Khan, I have very fond memories, very good person. He was above everything, caste, creed, color, and religion. Very helpful person. Some people said that he's Punjabi. Some people said that no, he's from Banihal. I don't know. Whatever he was, where from he was one of the excellent persons whom I saw, who headed the SP College during period I was in the college.
yes, and what about going over to the pilgrimage and Tulmul Vulmul Isu Gasan Tulmul जैसी जगह खीर
Tulmul
भवानी
with family. Tulmul with family. Kirmani, of course, every Kashmiri Pandit goes with family,
अष्टमी
especially June, in the month of June, when the annual fair is held over there.
right.
Ashtami, that we call. We used to go at that place. Otherwise, it was very expensive bus fare. We had only studies.
Shivalun, I mean Sheetalnath temples, going to
Sheetalnath once or twice with the NCC, because NCC in our school was something like you get a samosa, you get a uniform, you get a whistle. It was something like that. Something extra is given in the NCC, so we used to go NCC in the NCC.
That's so wonderful, and it was always, I thought that you are always a proud Ranavarian, and your
Yes,
literature also somewhere down the line reflects a great deal about Ranavari.
yes. I used to move in Ranavari. I think I remember every person from the Ranavari. It's who is anybody who is somebody. I remember him in Ranavari. Ranavari people may not know me, but I would silently watch who is doing what, where people are staying, what is the intellectual gathering, who is the artist. So many people. It was such an amazing locality, Ranavari. It was the Mer that passed through Ranavari. It was just like an island town, connected Dal Lake with
Like an
Nagin.
island, lagoon.
Now, we had two very prestigious institutions, education institutions in Ranavari before 90s. The Vishwavarti College for Girls and the Devi School, built by R.S. Machis. Wonderful institutions. Most of the boys studied. I studied in DAV school, in that school. Even Hindus, Muslims, every boy, they studied. In either the girls studied in the Vishwabhati, boys studied in the DAV school. There were government schools also.
School
There was
was
Hari
in
Singh High School, but lesser people studied in that school. But DAV school was very popular. And then Ranavari has a great history in terms of saints. You have Jivan Sahab from Ranavari,
Jeevan
then
Sahib.
Muslim saint Mia Shah Sahab. Krishnju Kar is from Ranavari. Zanan Zoe is from Ranavari. Zinsha Pir is from Ranavari.
Okay.
Bhavani Das Kachru, husband of Arnimal, is from Ranavari. Tabaram Turki, the Persian scholar, is from Ranavari. I met an Iranian in America. He said that Tabaram Turki's books are taught in university level in Tehran.
Tehran.
Tabaram Turki is a Kashmiri. His
Turkey.
books on Persian poetry, they are taught in Tehran. The Tabaram Turki is from Ranavari. Then Jafar Ali artist, the paper mache. His son Sadiq Ali was my friend. I have written a blog on him also. Wonderful person, Sadiq Ali. Sadiq Ali was MLC also. And we had a poet Radhanath Masarat. He used to sell cloth in Rana.
Yeah,
Very
we had a
progressive,
conversation. His
very
daughter.
progressive modern poet in Kashmiri. He would sit. He had a shop, and many people would come to that shop. I would say P.N. Kachru, the artist, would come there. Farooq Nazki would come there. Many people would come there and stay and talk and discuss. I would watch them. Then Professor P.N. Dar,
Hmm.
the private secretary to Indira Gandhi. He's
Piendar.
actually from he's actually from Ranavari. You have the Mattu's family, Amitabh Mattu. They are from actually Ranavari. The
TN Call
PK
also.
Mattu.
TN Call also.
TN Kohl is
TN Call.
Ranavari. He is from Jalali family. TN
Lali
Kohl is
Rana.
from Ranavari. Yes. The present chief secretary of the J&K state, Atal Dullu, is from Ranavari.
Atal Dulu. Present Chief Secretary Sahib.
Yes. Then we had a Pandit Saligram Kohl in Ranavari. Very unusually honest person. He find his wife. She was using tap water for irrigation of the kitchen garden. He
Okay.
find his own self. He deposited the fine. My wife has used this tap water for the irrigation. So such was the honesty. And Pandit Premnath Tusu was associated with the Vishwavarti College. Then Sridharju Dullu, who taught Ladakhis, who gave them the light of education. He's from Ranavari. Motilal Naz, poet, is from Ranavari. The Sufi singer Amkandru, Ghulam Ahmad Sufi.
Ghulam Sofi.
Amkandru, no. Yes, he's from Ranavari.
Amatandur.
Then
Nickname.
Manohar Kohl, he artist and art critic, he's from
Or call.
Ranavari.
Oh.
T.K. Jalali, the vocalist, he's from Ranavari. And the Kak families, ML Kak, SK Kak, bureaucrat, they are from Ranavari. BL Kak, RK Kak, journalist, they are from Ranavari. Then we had,
Okay, Kaustad. Doyen of journalism.
yes, yes. Muhammad Zaman Azurda, the poet, scholar, he's from Ranavari. Then Buddu,
Okay.
he who played for Mohan Bagan. I don't remember his name exactly. He played for Mohan Bagan. He's from Ranavari.
Uh,
Vaddu.
Mota Sahib.
Mehrajdin Vaddu.
Mota Sahib, sorry for the interruption. You are an encyclopedia, and there is a whole treasure of things you can explain, go on and on. So let's stop here for Renavari for the time being. Maybe it comes again in our references, but
Okay.
but let's begin with today's book. We're going to talk about book talk. That is about the shikaras in the frozen lake. First of all, why the title, and then first, I think from where to begin. Every chapter in it is so wonderful. so fabulous. So it's full of merit and full of content. And the content is full of vigor. So I would like to say from where to begin, but yes, I would definitely begin from the matinee idol, the great actor, film actor, celebrity film actor, uh, Balraj Sahni ji. His days in Kashmir, how he started in Kashmir, his connections with Kashmir, because it is a predominant subject chapter in your book. So we can begin from him. And first of all, give us an introduction. What about the title? How was the title? How did this idea of this title came into your mind?
Actually, the environment, the disturbances, the militancy, the trouble in the valley, I named it as a frozen lake.
It's a
It
frozen
gives an ambience of a frozen lake. The lake
metaphor.
is very good, very good a metaphor, but the lake is frozen. If the lake is frozen, you may put a beautiful shakara in the lake. It can't move. It can't give you the same story. It can't give you the same charm and pleasure had the lake not been frozen. Broadly, I have brought some people who are not known, or about whom not no book has been written. I wanted to document something, some people that they have also contributed. They are actually shikaras. How could they move when the lake is frozen? How?
Oh,
How? So
that's a
the,
poetry.
I have brought these people like Pandit Jeevanlal Mattu.
Jivanlal
People
Bhatt.
don't know him. People don't know him. Who is Jeevanlal Mattu? Incidentally, he also happens to be from Ranavari. I forgot to tell you.
Origin.
Jeevanlal Mattu, originally, Jeevanlal Mattu is the person who discovered Muhammad Rafi.
Yes, yes. That's why I
Gradually,
wanted to. First of all, I wanted to start with Balraj Sahni. Jivanlal Mattu is the
uh,
great subject. Yeah.
Balraj Sahni had business interests in Lahore, and the family used to come to Srinagar in summers. They had a house in
Mhm.
Srinagar. He is a state subject. His son is a state subject. They have had immovable property. I don't know whether it has been sold or not. And both father and son used to speak Kashmiri. And Barrai San is the person who translated Mahjur's poems and got them published in Vishwavarti, a magazine published in Shantiniketan. It's only through Barrai Sani that
He taught
Tagore
in
came to know about Mahjur.
he taught in Shati Niketan as well.
Ah, and
After India.
he was very particular, Barrai Sani, to make a film on Mahjur. And that he did. So Balraj Sani is a Kashmiri for all practical purposes. And every summer, he would come to Kashmir, uh, jump into the Dal Lake and swim in the bathing boats. I know a particular houseboat person where he would stay, where he would enjoy, who would bring him TV. I spoke to him also. It's a very lengthy discussion. I will tell you later on. For me, Balraj Sani's first love was Kashmir.
and and then you have your opening chapter is about probably about the mother. It is about
Yes,
the
yes. It is a tribute to my mother because that
as a tribute.
exceptional lady, the art, the interest, everything, the struggle that she did for us, that is tremendous. I can't repay the debt. Debt remains to repay. That debt remains to repay. A
That
time
is
came, a time came in my life that the debt could be repaid, but she was nowhere around.
that's so that's so sad in our lives. Our elders are lost, and when we get affluence, and then we really feel like going back.
Not affluence when we can eat, when we can, because she would have been the happiest women when she if she came to know that I purchased a car. I wanted to
Uh,
put her in the car and drive it, but she was not nowhere around.
that's so sad. It's a story of every one of us, our mothers. In Kashmir, especially, they were very devoted ones. Dana so spavana so.
Every whatever I have written, that's the story of every Kashmiri Pandit woman, every Kashmiri women, Pandit and Muslim women also. Every mother has struggled. The friends that are around, their mothers were similar to my mother. Same thing, same getting up early, service, and sacrifice. For everybody, these mothers would eat last of all, the remaining food. They would feed everybody, the husband, the family, the children, and last of all, and neglect themselves. Someday you
Gross
would come
health wise, body wise,
health
every
wise, yes, health wise, neglected.
that's so it brings tears to my eyes. My grandmother, I remember, she used to be Dan Spavan Suban Bichar. Patas that the months finally she died because of that bronchitic thing happened to her because 24 घंटे जिगरी जिगरी ये कर जिगरी ये कर
Yes.
जिगरी. That was something very painful, and they didn't see the affluence which now we have seen our children are
Not
seeing.
affluence, comfort. A little life has
Comfort.
become a little comfortable. They didn't
They
see it. They didn't see it.
didn't
They
see
didn't
that.
see it.
Let's come. Apna, I don't want to. I mean, this is something very pathetic, very deep feelings I have about this subject, about mother, especially Kashmiri mothers. I would like to now come to the Jivan Lal Matu, and the one of the great chapter in your book is about Jivan Lal Matu. I really want to know about let people, because most of the people don't know that he had introduced Muhammad Rafi and many other people as well. Tell us something about him.
See, Jivanlal Mattu belonged to a family of Mattus that were from Ranawari, actually.
Right,
When they migrated to, is not known, maybe in the early part of 20th century or later part of 19th century, they moved to Amritsar and Lahore. And Jivanlal Mattu became head of the AIR music section. Before partition, somewhere around 40s, he became the
right,
head of music section. So, as head of the music section, he brought many people, many talented people. He was a vocalist himself, a vocalist. He brought many talented people to All India Radio. You can say Ustad Allah Rakha, Mukhtar Begum, Shamshad Begum, Umrao Zia, Ghulam Ali Khan Saab, uh, Vidyanath Seth, Rahmat Ali, uh, these four sisters who used to sing Punjabi. And one day, while having a haircut at a barber shop, he saw a helper singing
oh,
here, in a unique style and cutting his hair. Then he stopped and looked at the boy. Where from are you? He said, I am from Amritsar, a village. So I am helping this my brother's shop. So you come tomorrow to the radio station. I want to see what you can do. Then he came to radio station. He did his voice recording. It was all okay. And then he told him, you come to my house in the evenings daily for 1 month, 2 months. You have some basic lessons in the classical music. And then I will send you to a guru who will teach you. That is how it all started. And Muhammad Rafi became Rafi of it because he had talent. He became discovery of Rafi is by Jivalal Mattu. There are
Matusa.
many people. Yes, Mattu. There are many people who say no, Mattu Sahab not didn't trace him. He came of his own, but that is not a fact. I have cross-checked it so many from so many sources, so many write-ups, so many things. It's only Jivalal Mattu. Even Pakistani writers,
Hmm.
even Kartar Singh Dugal has written that Jivanlal Mattu discovered it. So many people have written it. Jivanlal. So it is his discovery. It's a greater and Mattu Sahab started the Wadi Vind when he came to India. He came as refugee. Very saddened person. He came from Lahore. That was a center of literary activities, music, culture. He joined AIR Delhi. He started a national orchestra known as Wadi Vrind, which was later on taken over by Ravi Shankar.
Vadibram.
Wadi Vrind in All India Radio was a program, orchestra program.
Right.
And then Pratik or Milan is a program that he devised. Very wonderful musician, very wonderful musician. I think his son, his daughter-in-law, they are also in the music vocal. They are settled possibly in Canada or America. That's it. That is how I have built a story on Jivanlal Mattu. The rest I would like readers to read the book and find out more about him.
Yes, thank you very much. Apna Mota Sahab, would you listen to this music a bit? There's
Who
one
does not?
chapter,
Yes,
Raj Begum. So there's
yes,
one chapter dedicated to Raj Begum in your this book. Let's know about this script because I remember when I used to compare Pamposh program in ending 1970s and 80s in Jammu, and I used to play this song very much. Mashraf tha janan chakar yaad pe mehboob. So I was in awe for this Raj Begum. She was such a wonderful singer. Please let us know about Raj Begum, more about Raj.
Raj Begum is a nightingale of Kashmir.
Nightingale.
Nightingale of Kashmir. Because she was probably she's among the first musicians who was brought to Radio Kashmir because girls would not come, women would not come. She is the first in that batch who came to Radio Kashmir, and she has a melodious voice. One thing I will tell you, she is totally illiterate. The lyrics of the song would have to be told to her, put her in the ear that this
Really?
is the yes. She can't read, she can't write. She's totally illiterate, but see how Saraswati has been kind to her.
So
How
sad.
beautiful she sings. Some of the songs that she has sung, uh, Vesiye Gulan Ave Bahar, Az Salantan Baliyar. It's a
Ah,
beautiful song that I like. And then Gulrez, Subufal Bulatul Shori Gauga. This is the Gulrez that she has sung poetry. Rum Gayam Shishas Begurga Banmyon.
beautiful.
And then duet, Wala Ziaro, Doksak Mashrit. And then the song Kya Roz Pardan Sai Sai, Soji Jigar Myon. Of course, this Rasa Javadani song that you played, Mushrat
Rasa Jadani.
Janan. Yes,
Badrabai.
it's a Badrawai song, yes, yes, yes. Radhai Krishna's Bal Marit Sal Marit Gav.
That
Gopal
is a
Gopal
beautiful.
Krishan Khan Sekar Yad Pe Main. It's a very beautiful song.
That's so
Then
beautiful.
the Rang Satina Mein Javani.
Huh.
क्या क्या बने है दोस्त से कम कम सितम व्यतरय में ये then Hazrat Nabius lag sir navas. Then
Huh.
this is a naat
Nath, it's a Nath.
bahara naat, yes, damaros katbos. Then bombro shamrak bombro. She has
This
also
is
in that, yes, she's in that group song.
it was prior to this its filming of this song, much
It
prior.
was the first song that was sung 50s that was played.
Nadim song.
Befur so to wow bahara is a duet. Rasa Javedan is duet.
Beautiful, beautiful. Rasa
So
Javedani is
many
also.
songs, so many songs, so many songs are like
What is up?
Rajbek.
You have written so much about her, but really, I wanted to ask one thing: did he get her due in her lifetime? I heard that her life was not that. I
And I
mean,
had personal life. She had problems. She had some problems. We will not discuss them. Those she had
we
some
should not.
problems. She was not. She is not that satisfied and happy on personal front. But she got Sangeet Natak Academy
Ever.
fellowship, and then she was recognized. She was recognized. Everybody, the love that she got from the people is the biggest award.
In your eighth chapter, you have written about the uh, forgotten legacy of the music maestro Mohanlal Lama of Kashmir. I know he's Satish Kaul's father, probably Satish Kaul,
Yes.
filmmaker's father. And Mohanlal Lama was a great legend, and we have heard great Muzrat music and many other things about him. You have written so much and you have talked so much about Mohanlal Lama. Please elucidate, sir. Let's know about all about Mohanlal Lama.
Mohanlal Emma was a lawyer, LLB. He was a lawyer, and something strange happened after completing his law. One day, people found him sitting on Haba Kadal with a Chakri group and playing the Matka note.
Oh, so
Then
wonderful. Folk song going
they,
on.
the common trait with Kashmiri is to nickname people. He was nicknamed Mon Chakri. They said, "Oh, he's Mon Chakri, Mon Chakri," because he is in the Chakri group. He has done LLB. What is he doing there? He's a
What more?
lawyer. Should have gone to court. What is he doing there?
You should curse it, Rava.
Uh, the Kashmiri music, if you write the story of Kashmiri music, the development of Kashmiri music, the development of ghazal, the development of Chakri in Kashmiri,
Morphosis,
you can't
metamorphosis.
do you can't do without mentioning Mohanlal Ahmed. Such immense is his contribution. Such basic knowledge of music he had, Kashmiri music, the Kashmiri Sufyana music. You just listen the na that he has sung, Ya Nabi Gosh Faryadan Tha. How straight is good, these words go to your heart. The tune, yeah,
Oh,
the naat he has sung.
Nath.
And then Mohanlal Amma gave music to Kashmiri films also, the films that were produced in Kashmiri. And he was always sought as an expert on Kashmiri music. Whenever any music was to be thought of, decided, included, Mola Lama was there. At personal level, I have seen him. He was a wonderful matka player. Such swift were his finger movements on the matka. In Kashmiri, we say note. You can't. He would put on the keys, these hold keys in one hand, and then these angutis. He
Acha,
put
with
them
that
on his fingers,
new
and then he would play the matka in such a beautiful matka. But he was not recognized. He should have been given some award, some prize, something. He was not recognized. The Bombro Bombro Shamrang Bombro is his basic tune. The tune is by him only.
okay.
In that way, I have written that he has not been recognized. Mola Lama.
Maulana Lama, I think he was the music director of Mahajrat also. Did
Yes,
he?
yes.
The first
Shairi
Kashmiri.
Kashmir Majur also. Shairi Kashmir Majur also. He was music director. And then when that Zuni was made, he was a consultant for that film also.
Okay.
Zuni film. That
That didn't
which was
complete.
stopped.
Muzaffar
Incomplete
Ali.
film. He was a musical concert. Anybody doing anything on Kashmiri music could not proceed further unless Mola Lama was contacted. The last Bhagwan Dyat was a saint poetess of Kashmiri. He has recorded some beautiful bhajans of Bhagwan Dyat in his personal voice, and along with Arti Tikkuji.
Arti
Wonderful
Tikuji.
music they are. In Bombay, I think they have recorded this music. I have written all that in this book.
That's so wonderful. People must go and read this book. This book has a very, very deep moorings and insights. It is a really, really great grace to read what Mota Saab has collected about these great personalities and how he has explored and unraveled these poetries, their stature, their deep understanding of music, art. I think everybody should go and read this book. All Kashmiri Pandits should go and read this book. This is my earnest clarion call to everyone. Mota Sahab, I would like to say that there was a person who had a very, very nourishing, blessed background. He was. It is said that if nobody could cure you, it is that doctor who could cure you, Doctor Ali Jan. And there are many,
Oh,
many stories about him playing gambling with Shashi Kapoor and flamboyant lifestyle. But he had a great, what you call it, shafa in Kashmiri, that where whosoever went to him, everyone had a story to tell. Everyone has its part of Ali Jan, a story of Ali Jan to tell. Tell us something about Dr. Ali Jan.
Dr. Ali Jan was a medical messiah of modern medicine. After New Brothers, New Brothers brought the modern medicine and modern surgery to Kashmir.
Yeah,
We, I should not say so, all of us, including me, we are ungrateful people that we have not created a memorial for New Brothers in Kashmir.
we should have.
How much service they did to Kashmiris in general in Kashmir. Neve brothers, both Arthur Neve and Ernest Neve. They opened the hospital free of cost during the earthquakes, during the famines, during the cholera epidemics. They brought the what we say in Kashmiri trombone to Kashmir. They brought medicines, they brought surgery, everything they gave us. But after them, if any person who is tallest in Kashmir in respect of modern medicine is Dr. Ali Jan. You could go to Ali Jan, he would not prescribe any tests, nothing. No test, no x-rays, no screening, nothing, no doing, no simple medicine. He would look at you, hold your pulse, look at you, talk to you, smile, and he would prescribe a medicine that cured you. Such was his diagnostic skills he had. So
Skills and
he did
something esoteric as well.
something, yes, yes, something. Those who worked with him in Ranavari, we had Mr. Handu, we had uh, a doctor RMP, his name was, I don't remember, Ramju Handu, yes. His
Ramju.
name was Ramju Handu. He had worked with Ali Jan.
Okay.
Anybody who would go fall ill, he would say, "Ite should, this is a local Alijan here, why don't you go to him?" And whatever he would prescribe, Dr. Alijan would also prescribe the same medicine because he had picked up. Anybody who worked with Dr. Alijan
A great
became
personality,
equally famous, became
man.
equal famous in Kashmir. So Kashmiris cannot forget Dr. Alijan, the medical messiah of Kashmir.
So wonderful. many stories about his
Yes,
gambling with
yes.
Shashi Kapoor.
That was his private life. We would not discuss it.
No,
He
no,
was
no, it's
gambling.
not private life. I mean, it has something to do with the flamboyance and his lifestyle.
Yes, he
It
was well
defines his
dressed. He was
personality
well
as well.
dressed. He smoked. He smoked. He smoked. He well dressed. And then he had the Kaksab assistant outside him. The Kaksab would be more think himself more bigger than Dr. Ali Jan. So you could go for an appointment. You had to run after Kaksab. Give me a pack of cigarettes, sir. I want an early appointment.
That's so wonderful. Many stories about. I am going to have a I mean, actually, I had contacted his son, and we had talked on this to come take this conversation forward. But somewhere down the line, I don't find the right persons, and there are a number of people who want to talk about. I want to have a complete conversation on
You should.
Doctor,
You should. You should bring him.
which is
He
which
needs
is
that.
pending, which is pending on this conversation. Mota Sahab, I would like to talk about the first women broadcaster of Kashmir, uh,
Shantaji.
Shanta ji, wife of Padam Shri, I mean, this क्या नाम है? Ran Kishore ji, and the who probably compared this Aapki Farmaish also and was a writer. There was something about this great personality of those times.
Shataji was not only a she was affectionately known as Appajan. Children's program she was holding in
Apajan.
Radio Kashmir. She was our first, I think, first women broadcaster of Kashmir. She had a
Okay.
wonderful voice, wonderful command over spoken Urdu, Kashmiri, Hindi, and she has written poetry also. Two, three books published. Her two, three books. She was a great strength and source of inspiration for Pran Kishore ji.
Ran Kishore ji. Yeah.
Shantaji, yes. The dark that came to Radio Kashmir, it was all praise. It came used to come from across the border. It was all praise for Shantaji. Sometimes some gift would come to her because the way she conducted programs, the way she spoke, the way she took up issues, the way she addressed people, fantastic, fantastic. And she trained many people. One of her trained announcers was Nikki Appa later, Uma Khosla.
Yeah.
She
Khosla,
was
Uma
trained by
Khosla. We are going
she
to
was
talk with
trained
that.
by she was trained by Shantaji.
And Uma Khosla, that Wadi Ki Awaz,
Yes,
Wadi Ki
yes.
Awaz, Munshi Allah Rakha, and that was a very popular kind of a feature.
Ah, Shantaji
Yeah,
used to present a program आपकी फरमाइश बच्चों का program. She also was in the connected with the theater also.
Shataji.
Shantaji, yes.
That's so wonderful to know about this great personality. I mean, who was the first broadcaster in Kashmir. It really fills with me so much of gratitude for, so much of respect for her. And let's come to the era man now. One of my favorite, one of your favorite, one of our everybody's favorite. The era man, the era poet, Nadim Saab. Dinanath Nadim Saab. I had a conversation with Chativir ji, a complete conversation on his poetry. But yet, I think that was just a figment. That was a small aspect of Nadim ji's personality. I think the way you have interwoven his poetry, it is something very meticulous, and you have translated it into English. I mean, it is very nearing meaning to the, I mean, Nadim Saab. And Nadim Saab was a phenomenon. He was an era man. He was a Renaissance man. He was a man, probably, he was a century man. And after going away of Nadim Saab, the Nadim era, everything has changed as we look back. Tell us something about Nadim Saab, sir. You have contributed a lot, and in your chapter about Nadim Saab, it is very worth reading. Everyone should read it. It's poetry, line by line, and you have deeply divulged and deeply swim into his this literary skills and his understanding and his poetic, style and presentations. Yeah.
Nadim Saab, I have devoted around 10, 12 pages in this book.
Yes.
He is the tallest poet, not only of Kashmir, but the persons who have contributed to the corpus of world poetry. Nadim Saab can be compared with any person, any poet of that stature. If you have to discuss Kashmiri poetry, you have to give first chair to Nadim Saab. After that, you have to keep three, four chairs vacant. Then you put other poets. Such is the gap, such is the wide gap between Nadim Saab and other Kashmiri
There is
poets.
no second to him. There is no
There
third
is
to
no
him.
second. There is no second or third to him. I say you have to keep three, four chairs vacant. Instantly, I will. I think I have told once also. I went to a university in America and
Yes, you
took
told.
met an English professor over there and took four, five poems of contemporary poets of Kashmiri. One was Nadim Saab. Nadim Saab's poem Vunal I translated it into English. All the other poets I will not name them. I also translated them to English. So during discussions, the professor told me, "You are from Kashmir. Yes. What is the cultural scenario, poetry, and all that?" So I showed him all the five poems. I said, "These are the contemporary poets. You can select. This is the scenario. The best poems of all the poets had selected."
Woolen.
Nadim Saab, yeah, is very difficult to translate. I had translated in my own way. Hunal. He
Acha, you
saw
are
all the
translating. Please,
yes.
please.
He saw all the poems. Then he stopped at Nadim Saab's Hunal poem. Said, "Who is this poet? Who is
Who
this
is the
poet?" I said, "He's Dinant Nadim. Can you write an essay on him? Can you give more poems on him? We'll publish it in the university's magazine."
university
Such
magazine?
is the such is the tallest appeal, universal appeal of Nadim
That's
Saab's poetry. You translate him into English, it is wonder. It's wonder. He rises. He can be compared to any modern English poet. If
Badi Shah.
you translate other poets, I'll not name. Somewhere the basic issue is lost. They are trapped in the locality of poetry only, local issues only. Nadim rises very high because of his study, because of many other things, because of his background, or I can't say anything, but
Side.
Nadim is the tallest. Nadim is the tallest poet in Kashmiri.
You
His
recite
metaphor, I'll recite some point. His metaphor, use of language, sound words.
sound
Shur
words.
Shur Kar Kar. Oh, the only poet in Kashmiri who can impress you with the sound words.
Sound
How
words.
the air moves, how a storm moves. Shur
Chiri
Shur,
chiri.
Chiriv Chiriv, how birds sing. This is Nadim only. And he has used every type of style. He used haiku, he used
High
ghazal,
poetry.
he used three-line poems, he used nazams, he used every style he used in Kashmiri poetry. And then one more thing, his metaphor, his language, his thought is Indic.
Indeed.
It's Indic. He has the very strong sense of India's civilizational ethos. If you read his poetry clearly, it, it is not nothing else than his thought, his metaphor, his language, it's his continuity of civilization ethos of India. You look to anything that her साथ he
Prasad.
experimented with her साथ and many things. Nare Shabab, Grav, Mevuch, Shabnam, Sont, many poems of Nadim Saab. I will read the Vunal that I presented to a professor in a university.
Well,
How I translated Vunal.
please, sir, please.
For I translated Vunal fog. We never saw its face. Never did we see its back either. Shapeless, like a long forgotten thought or an unfamiliar reflection that turned cold, someone puts up a question. What is your name? Are you fog? Very silently it moved past the river banks and filled the lanes and narrow paths. Measuring passageways and looking carefully at everything around, it swept us like the sorrows of this existence that are delivered from all sides with both the hands.
Beautiful.
Engulfing everything, it made everyone slip into obscurity. Surely it shall vanish on its own, die with warmth, and melt away, and at that moment alone we may be able to see each other's face.
That's
This is this is the Nadim Saab's point.
wonderful, wonderful. I mean, you can. I don't know. I mean, all his poetry is somewhere down there. I'm smitten by his poetry, although I'm not a very expert on a Kashmiri language. मगर मैं छू कसान इनसे poetry बुझती छू कसान ताच क्या था ना. So they say that there is a spiritual dimension to the every vibration to the everything we write. So from where it
See,
emanates.
I will recite two another poem of which I like. Yavun myon nondra fenj phatnai. This is typical Kashmir metaphor. Yavun myon nondra fenj phatnai sheen tal baman. Sine
Ah,
pani nazar karhas parastam vatmus.
oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Subaniyeli shabnaman simab chokro yad pya kustam.
Ah,
Yimatas dag daras bekar arastam vatmus. Beautiful poet, beautiful poet.
Well, sir.
I
Yes, please. Please, sir. Please continue, Mota sir. Yeah.
then he says Nishat Bagh, how he brings in his point, which Bagh in Nishati Shan Khazan and Than Tulit.
Ah,
Which this Nishat Bagh he compares with a picture that has all the wealth, but it is open, its lid is open. Which Bagh in Nishati Shan Khazan and Than Tulit. Kor Pari Zabarman Shan
Zabardast
Nindri
Khan.
Bhagwan Tulit. Nindri Bhagwan Tulit.
Chandra Bhagwan Tulit. That's
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Rood
ये
Fer Chipaka
शादी के
Nanwar.
लिए yeah.
Rodu fer chipaka nan word supak halper lagai. Setvati akvizi word supak
Right.
halper lagai.
Focus पर लगे. अरे beautiful, beautiful. It's about the
This is
thoughts which moves along the Dal Boulevard Road.
yes,
Because
yes.
Shaktivanji discussed it, but it can be interpreted in many planes.
Many
It can be
places that is the greatness of a poet. It has a wide interpretation. You don't
right.
get trapped in a localized metaphor. When
Localized
you
metaphor
translate it, it
cannot
becomes a localized metaphor, local issue. It
yeah.
doesn't rise up to the universal level.
But something sometimes I ask Shantivirji, what about that this Nadim Saab's poem in which he talks about the hope of tomorrow? क्या क्या
बेशर्मा आशपाक इच पगा शोरी दुनिया.
मतलब वो
हाँ.
आश कहाँ चली गई नादिम साहब की एरा भी चला गया आश भी साथ चली गई क्या हुआ anyway sir you want to say something more about Nadim Saab we can
Nadim
talk
Saab, I would say one thing more.
Hmm.
There is a story built around Nadim Saab that he was communist. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He was a Marxist. He didn't
socialist
believe in God. He didn't. It's all false. I've spoken to many people. I've spoken to his immediate family, spoken to his children, spoken to late Shantivir, spoken to his Ahimsaji, his another son. Nadim Saab was perfectly a Kashmiri Pandit, typical Kashmiri Pandit,
typical
pure Kashmir. He would put on a Janeu. He has gone for a Havan. He did Shada at Martand. His and parents, he would perform Shada. And the puja of Shivratri, he would do himself. What else?
himself
Yes, himself he would do. He would sleep with a Bhagavad Gita under his pillow. These are all lies, concocted stories built around his personality that he was a communist, he didn't do it, that, he didn't do, he didn't put on that. It's all concoctions about his personality. I tell you again that he was a man who had enormous belief in the Indic civilization and cultural ethos of India.
that's no
Continue.
that's no. And I think he also edited Martand at one point of time
I don't
the
know. He was not, I think he was not with Martha.
he was not edited Martand okay Acha,
Concourse perhaps was a magazine, progressive writers magazine Concourse. He was editing that.
Mota Sahab, now I'd like to say that Hakim Shamlal Bhatt, Shama Bhatt used to say, let's have it go into
Yes.
again to the medicine, Ayurvedic medicine or whatever we can, holistic medicine terms. Sham Bhatt, my mother, my grandmother, my Fufis, they all used to call Sham Bhatt. Sham Bhatt Soebu. Sham Bhatt. Tell us something about Sham Bhatt.
He was, he belonged to a family of Sahas Bhatt, you know. Sahas Bhatt, his father. I mean, Hakim, his father was a scholar who worked with, he worked with Stein, translator.
Ornstein, yes, he gave him the
Yes,
manuscripts.
his father worked, he worked with them. And Shamlal Bhatt was a Hakim, read, educated Hakim. He would treat most of the patients free. He would go, Shambhat Kocha, a street in Kashmir, is named after Shambhat. His old house, he would practice there, then he shifted to Karanagar, he would practice there. He was not only Hakim, he had a literary knowledge, a poet, many things he would discuss, politics, everything was discussed with Shambhat. He became something tallest Hakim during those days in Kashmir. Anybody, especially the ailments of stomach, the indigestion problems, the liver problems, Shambhat is the ultimate. Shambhat is the ultimate. People will go to modern also for allergies, modern allopathic medicine also, but Shambhat was tried, tested. It was cheap. He would give smilingly. The medicine was cheap. Maybe it would take longer time. He was a family man, like Hindus and Muslims. Everybody would go there.
Household name.
If we a household name, if we found that the person is not in a position to pay the money, he would give him free. He would give him free.
That's so.
Such a popular person in Kashmir.
Apin, that is something very wonderful about him. We now would like to go into somebody whose services to the Indian cellulite were not recognized to what he actually deserved. I want to talk about the writer and the filmmaker Arun Kaulji, and kindly tell us something about Arun Kaul as a personality and his works and life and times. It's a great chapter, big chapter into your book. Right.
Yes, it has also. I have also dealt it in around 8 9 pages. You can write a book on Arun Kaul. Arun
Yeah,
Kaul's
Arun
contribute. Arun Kaul's
Diksha. I've seen
contribution.
Diksha was so mesmerizing. I've seen his Diksha once. So,
The
kya
Kashmir file
class
that he started, then the television program Kashmir file that he did, it was a
Kashmir
wonderful objective. Yes, program.
90s.
Arun Kaul was basically a Hindi poet, Hindi writer.
Okay.
Then one day he decided to move to Mumbai. He went to Mumbai and struggled, tried this way, but he became associated, got associated with the new wave cinema. Instead of the commercial cinema, he became associated with
Parallel,
the new wave, yes,
parallel set.
parallel cinema, new wave cinema, and wrote scripts for some films, co-directed, produced some films, but remained in the background, did not come to the limelight. But his contribution is immense, immense in poetry stature. He could be compared with the modern poets, modern poets of India. He he scripted many or scripted or co-scripted many films like Ijazat, Lekin, Ankush, Ashwamedhar Ghoda, Prakop, Sampark, Kal Chakra. They were scripted or co-scripted by him. Then he did many TV programs, many documentaries he did on the background. But people don't recall Jallianwala Bagh. He made a documentary. He made a documentary on Bharat Bhavan Bhopal. He made a documentary Metamorphosis India. Kalam Likhti Nahi Itihas. The Kashmir file that he did for the Doordarshan was a wonderful. It
Fine.
had a wide viewership in India. The Veth television program that he. Incidentally, I would like to know he is. I would like to tell viewers that he's the elder brother of Pandit T.K. Jalali, the musician.
Archana's father, Archana Jalali's
Archana's
father.
uncle, Archana Jalali's uncle he
Matlab,
is.
T.K. Jalali is the
Ah,
father. T.K. Jalali,
yes,
yes.
yes. And his children are also doing well. Indraneel Koul, they are cinematographer. Another is director. So that is it. But I would like people to read the essays about him because history will not mention these people unless you document them. Their work you document them. That is why I have documented it, put it for the posterity. Maybe I write a monograph on him and his
Yeah,
contribution.
one should write. You have definitely a lot of research on him, and certainly, if nothing, at least a monograph is needed in his memory. He was the person who was assisting Chetananand in Hakikat.
Yeah, he was assistant director of Hakikat. Ah,
Hakikat, the great
Hakikat.
movie, one of the greatest movie India had, one among the greatest. Uh, Mota Sahab, we'd like to go to now. Arun Kaul is a chapter which is a long chapter, and we need to, in case people are interested, they must go and read the book, and besides that, they can just search for the other corners and other places from where you can get an information because he has done a lot of work, and it can be found out somewhere on the internet and many other places. I would like to now come down to a young Kashmiri, Calcutta-born Kashmiri uh, artist Rakib Shah, who has surpassed even SS
SS
Raza's
Raza.
painting price, and now he is millions, 4.5 million. I don't know. You must have the exact number with you, and 5 million is the price for his one artwork. Tell us something about Rakib Shah. That is something very exhilarating. It excites us all Kashmiris. Yeah. Yeah.
Rakib Shah is a Kashmiri. Rakib Shah, I think he belonged to the family, the Shah carpets, his Shah traders, who had the
Okay.
shop in Band. He belongs to that family, perhaps. His family had a showroom in Calcutta, Nepal, etc. So he has studied in Calcutta and then in Kashmir also. But he studied art, and at the moment, he's the highest selling artist in the world. There is hardly any exhibition, any this museum in the world which has not showcased his art. And he's won the Garden of Earthly Delight,
Garden
sold
of.
for Earthly Delights.
Oh, early.
5.5 million US dollars it sold. By that
Oh,
price, he far exceeded the cost price of Sayyid
I just
Hassan SH Raza paintings. So
that's
he is, and you must see his work. It is a amalgamation of the traditional arts of Kashmir, the colorful this
expressionism,
expressionism, modern art, abstract
cubic,
art, everything
cubic art.
combined together. The one painting takes around 3, 4, 5, 6 months.
Oh,
He uses some certain needles, technical, to make these paintings. So you must see the paintings, and I'll say something to be proud of that a Kashmiri has come to that stature in the
that's
world
that.
of art.
Yeah.
Art at
And
present.
you have visited, probably you have visited one of his painting site or some
I
landscape.
saw a painting in MoMA, not this Metropolitan Museum of Art. Yes,
Okay.
I saw,
Acha, you sit in
and
Metropolis.
I have written on it also. But one must see his paintings, and then only we can discuss. Uh, unless you see him, but he is a craze. He does the bronze work also. He does sculpture also, bronze work also. Very exceptional type of work. Very exceptional, unseen, unheard in the world of art.
Uh, we'll just come down to Uma Khosla. You just mentioned about her, and Uma Khosla ki Wadi ki Awaaz. She was a Kashmir, lived in Kashmir and died in Kashmir. She was one of the
Yes,
most popular voices. Niki Apa and Munshi Allah Rakha was probably, I think, that Kedar Shama. We were very
yes.
young in those school times. We used to about Wadi ki Awaaz suniye, something like
Ah,
that. Is
she had also a typical style of conveying Urdu. And Munshi ji, and they would
Munshi
know joke talk together. She had a wide viewership across the border. Like
Allah. Oh,
Shanta ji should also receive gifts from across the border. Some gifts, some letters of praise. Excellent announcer of Urdu that Radio Kashmir ever saw. She, I think, lived in Kashmir, just Badami Bagh, Kent, and died there only. She was a spinster, didn't marry, but had an
actually.
enormous love for Kashmir.
And in those things, I think this Wadi Ki Awaaz was started by the Indian broadcasting system to counter the propaganda of
Yes,
Pakistani
that's right.
propaganda against
One,
Kashmiri India.
one more addition that came through my research, that she is related to Professor Satish Dhawan, was chairman of
Arey,
ISRO. Uma Khosla is related to Professor Satish Dhawan, and Satish Dhawan had his
is a
schooling in Kashmir, his initial schooling in Kashmir for some time. That's it.
that makes us proud. Another proud.
Yes,
Satish Dhawan had its schooling in Kashmir, and she was related to Satish Dhawan.
Satish
Chopras, they
Dhawan.
were the great Khoslas, Chopras, they were the great people. I mean, people with the background from 3, 4 generations. They were affluent and they were into the, I mean, upper periphery of even the artistic expression and broadcasting and other artistic work. Even in the films, you can see Chopras are there. Apna Mota Sahab, I would like to say that I remember in childhood, I don't know whether it is the same. We used to go to our dad's friend's place at Kanikadal, and then during the night, those musical extravaganza used to go on, and Gupubach used to play different roles and characters and something like that. So I really wanted to know: is it the same Gopinath Bhatt, forgotten folk
Yes,
singer and dancer?
yes,
Please tell us
yes,
something about. Yeah.
yes. He was a very excellent uh, folk singer of Kashmir. Chakri. He had a
Actress.
group. He had a group. Tabla, a matka player, then sarangi player. He had his own. The Muslims some, and then that group used to go for singing. They would go for marriage functions, marriage events, and other social gatherings. And then Gop- Gopinath ji was also into Bacha Nagma dancing also. The first
Bachman.
Kashmiri who is in the Orthodox Kashmiri Pandit Society, he put on the jama, that is the jama for the dancing, and he would dance in the marriages also. Excellent artist. Now we realize the importance of his music, his dance, and everything. He broke the shackles, and people started then coming to that. He was very popular in Kashmir. During Bakshi Saab's regime, he was also connected with Radio Kashmir. The rest I have put in the essay. Better to read the essay if I tell everything. He's also covered. It's a
So
tribute to his art.
it's a great tribute to his art, and I think we could correlate with many Vedlal Vakil. You talked about
Yes,
Vedlal Vakil, social
yes,
reformist.
they were pioneer social reformers. He was the person who did first widow marriage in Kashmir.
Okay, he
Otherwise,
was like Kashyap
yeah.
Bandhuji, like Kashyap
Yes, yes,
Bandhuji.
yes, yes, yes. And he was
Just
in
like
the music, he was in the theater also, Vedlal Vakil. Very, very liberal person, very progressive, very broad-minded, very
okay.
far-sighted person. I have written an essay on him also, Vedlal Vakil. How did he contribute?
Uh, this I mean the Sopori Saab. I remember we had to do a conversation that day, and he was there ready for a conversation. You have mentioned it in the book also, and then his phone came. He said, "Jugalji, I cannot come. Why this disease has again erupted, and you can take my son." Abhay. Then Abhay came in his place and tell us something about Bhajan Sopuri. Bhajan Sopuri is a popular person. Everybody knows
Wonderful person, wonderful musician, down to
musician.
earth person. The family is excellent. Not that I have been awarded by Samapa. Otherwise, also the book I wrote before that.
Okay. Gharana.
I
He
would
created a musical gharana. They
his
were musical gharana.
he revolutionized the Kashmiri light music, light singing, and in classical music. Now people don't know Sopari Saab Bhajanji has created four ragas that were created by him only. One is
Yes.
Rag Laleshwari.
Laglaleshwari, yes.
Rag Laleshwari, this is Bhajan Sopari's creation. Then Rag Patwanti, Hemrast, and Nirmal Ranjani. And Bhajan ji has had enormous knowledge of Sufiana music as well as the classical music of India, both the music.
Wow.
And he could
Yeah,
balance them, play on the scale. A wonderful musician. We lost him early.
yeah. We lost him early. And
We lost him early.
he was a person who was instrumental in development of Santur, expanding
Yes,
Santur's
yes,
notes
yes, yes,
to
yes.
in tune with the resonance with the Indian classical musical genre.
Exactly.
He was a great
I,
person.
I, the essay on him I have concluded with Majaz Lakhnavi's poetic lines. Majaz Lakhnavi's.
Yes, please.
I have the essay on Bhajan Sopuri because people want to hear his music again and again today. सारा आलम गोशे बर आवाज है आज किन
Ah,
हाथों में दिल का साज है छुप गए वो साज हस्ती छेड़कर अब तो बस आवाज ही आवाज है
very
that is
beautiful.
that
That's
that's
a real tribute to him. And Avtaji, we know about we have almost done programs on all the painters, the Van Gogh of Kashmir, Bhat Somnath Bhatt, and all people. The Loknath has not yet been because by the grace of God he's still a living legend, and I have not been able to approach him because because of inaccessibility to the gadgets. But I'll somewhere down the line locate him in the future and bring him along. But let people know something about the Lokkolji and his painting and artistic, the influences and
he is a master. He is a master, the person who brought modern art to Kashmir. Three persons. He is a pillar, the biggest pillar. P.N. Kachru, Tralokol, and Somnath Bhatt.
Somnath Bhatt.
Tralokol is an educated person. Tralokol knows the art, knows the technique, respected by was respected by the leading painters of India. Tralokol, because of his style, he was personally one-to-one friendship with Syed S.H. Raza.
Tejas Azaya.
Yes,
Tejas
the
Aza was
local. You can say he's a doyen of art, but at the
right.
moment he doesn't paint. He doesn't paint. He has, unfortunately, he, all everything that he did has been lost, stolen. We don't know where that went. He had kept those paintings in Kashmir.
It's very
All the
painful.
paintings around very painful. He's a sad man. They have been stolen, or
In
he has
his
lost it. He has lost it.
he's 90 Aryan and now he's seeing his own creation that is
But
vanished from
but
the scene.
but he keeps a good health. He's alert. 3 days before I talk to him, he's alert. He's active.
Really?
He's yes. He talk. He knows everything what is happening around. He is
Oh,
alert.
that's so wonderful. I did because we had a conversation with this Padam Shri Kashinath Panta, and we had a conversation with the doyen of Kashmiri theatre art and television, especially television craft and the broadcasting, doyen of the broadcasting. that is Pran Kishorji. We had a different, very wonderful
Yes,
conversations with him. But still, I would like you to just elaborate about the great personalities which are the living legends and who have contributed immensely to our, this literature, music, broadcasting, and other aspects of life.
you want me to say something about Pankishorji?
Pran Kishorji, yes, yes. Sure, Pran Kishorji. Yeah.
The history of theatre drama in Kashmir cannot start unless you mention Pankishore. Immense contribution, especially radio drama. I have
Radio drama,
pers-
the thousands he has done. Yeah, thousands of radio drama.
radio drama and the technique also, radio drama technique also, radio drama script also. He knows everything. And talk to him is a storehouse of knowledge. Storehouse of knowledge. He knows the poetry and he's a painter. Wonderful painter. Wonderful
Yes,
painter.
I displayed his paintings on my show as well.
You cannot,
Sketches
you
also.
cannot, you cannot talk anything in Kashmir about literature, art unless you talk about Pran Kishore. I will
Pran
not say much. Pran Kishore is a Voltaire,
all
can
time.
say Voltaire of Kashmir literature, Kashmir theatre, Kashmir
Genesis of
drama,
Kashmiri theater, art,
Kashmir,
life cycle.
anything and everything about literature, culture of Kashmir. If you speak, you have to
Then only
involve Pran Kishore. Pran Kishore. He knows anything and everything about Kashmir. And something which he does not know that should not have been, that is not worth knowing about art, literature, and theatre of Kashmir. That is only I would say about Pan Kishore individually. So many plays, so many plays, so many plays, so much of contribution.
And we had this Padam Shri we talked about. I had a program. His son came in. Gulam Rasul Santosh Saab, the tantric art maestro,
Yes,
whose art became very popular. Whose art was based on the tantric vidya and especially the क्या कहते हैं, Sakreshwari was the Sakreshwari Mata. That area, that abode, was the center of his research and evolution, from where he developed this art of tantric, and then he finally added on to, I think he went to some schools and Baroda school or somewhere, and then finally he was popular in the West. Tantric art is tantric art. Tell us something about him.
I have written this tantric geometry. His
Tantric.
what is the concept of his triangles, squares, circles, what they mean, and bindu what they mean. But in tantric art, I would rate him number one in India. Number one in India because he read the scriptures also. He learned the language also, Sharda
Understood.
language. Sharda language, and he had knowledge also. He had knowledge also. And then, if the artist is informed, educated, he can put
Create one.
everything on the canvas. He's very conceptually very clear. His color usage was very clear. He knew the spirituality of the colors. What is blue, where it is to be used. What is pink, where it is to be used. What is yellow, what is the spiritual aspect of yellow color. In
Significant.
the mythology, in the Hindu mythology, in the scriptures, in Tantra, he knew it. He knew the geometry also, triangle significance that he did. I have around devoted 7 8 pages to his art. Better read. It will be a very small time to discuss him. There is only not a book on him, but accepting this Shantivir has written a booklet on his art. But I have a different take on his geometry, his circle, his triangles. You must read this essay to know who he was. Perhaps the tallest artist in India about Neo Tantra, that is G.R.
Neotantric.
Santosh. G.R.
Neotantric.
Santosh. Yes.
His son had come. His son was with
Yes. His son is also a very good artist. He's a
artist.
friend.
And he is
Sabir.
compiling a book. He is compiling a book. He was telling me on his
That's very
father.
great. That's very because there is no book on him.
There's
Something
no book.
needs to be documented on him. There are things here, essays, all that, but a book needs to be done on him.
Oh, yes. And uh, sir, Mota Saab, you tell me, why did Kashinath remain unmarried? This is for second part of your book, where you are recalling these incidents.
A
Really. Then
Kashmiri
इसका
Pandit
कसूर हो
Society,
काशीनाथ is unmarried. Then क्या इसको रखा है?
because he was going to hotels. The
Wife.
Kashmiris would say Shudargari Das. He wastes money. How can he feed his family? How can he create a family life? He goes to hotels. He drinks tea in the hotels. He takes snacks in the hotels. Before I see the
He
early
spends less.
Orthodox, so many taboos were in the Kashmiri Pandit society that a person who went to hotels, spent money on hotels, he would be labeled as Darwari Das, a person who wastes money, so he's not fit for marriage. He can't feed his wife, he can't feed his children. That is why Kashinath remained unmarried. And then he would have milk and jalebis in the halwai shop. People saw him.
In
He
the
was
jalebi
taking
shop.
milk,
Halwai shop.
jalebis and milk in the halwai shop. So he only feeds his belly. How can he feed other bellies? And that is, he's going to bring it into his family with the marriage.
Poor Kashinath.
Yes.
That's a
And then
wonderful anecdote.
a time came in the Kashmiri Pandit society that people who used to go to halwai shop to have milk, they would go inside a curtain. They would sit
Okay.
inside a curtain so that people did not look who was having milk, who was having jalebis. Then everything changed after 47. Everything changed. Every
Oh, I
people
see.
started
That
going
was
to
because
hotels
of that
even
great, huge lull of depravity for years and
because
centuries.
poverty. Yes,
Poverty
people
that
lot of
perished. The rulers were outsiders. They'd taken everything from people.
there is an
Right.
essay on it. There is an essay on it, Kashinath. So many essays I have put in.
That's it. And what about this Wagyu seller? Wagyu was the, I know that it was a dry grass
Wagyu seller. I have memories of. See, in Kashmiri Pandit society, Wagyu was very important. A Wagyu was needed
yes,
at the time of birth.
the
A
last man.
Wagyu was needed at the time of death. A Wagyu was needed a marriage ceremony. A Wagyu was needed any sanskara in the family. So Wagyu was very important, and Wagyu sellers would come in the localities. They would sell two pieces, twins.
Oh,
They would sell two Wagyu pieces. They would cry typically Waguma, Waguma, Waguma. I had memories and I have written this all in the Wagyu seller.
and who was this Ramzan Saad Makar?
Fad Makar was a community in Kashmir who would come early in the morning, "Hey, Baibi Vare Chakai." They would cry. Well, sir, this a Gosain Istamul. They were cheats actually. They were fake Sayyids. Fake Sayyids. Walter Lawrence has also written about them.
Oh, I
To
see.
our house, a Ramzan Sir Makar would come. Then we asked our neighbor, Sondar Dad was a bakery shop she had. She told me that he's from Pampur. He's a fraud man. Don't give him. Why do you give him all these things? He's a fraud man. He's not a saintly person. He's a Sad Makar. So I have written a story on Ramzan Sad Makar also. Better read
That's
it. Better read it.
and Slacks Molvi. Who is the Slacks
Flex
Molvi?
Mulvi, he appeared in Kashmir. He would take a stick in his hand, and any girl from the women's college who would put on slacks. Slacks was fashionable in those days. The
In those days,
lower garment on those days. He would take a stick and run after those girls. Why do you put on slacks? This is not Kashmiri dress. This is not. We have nothing to do. Put on yezar. Put on shalwar. Slacks Moli became very popular in Kashmir. And then finally, Miss Mahmouda Ahmad Ali Shah, the principal, lodged a FIR against him, and then that menace stopped. He was bothering women, the girls of women's college. There is
he
a
was
essay
a
on Slacks Moli also.
he was a
It
Casanova,
is part of nostalgia. Nostalgia.
local Casanova. And Ha Khatab heater coach to stove. What is
Ah,
this
these
about?
were things. This is how our kitchens ran. Huck, it is huck. Huck were
Hak.
drifted wood pieces that would be sold in the winters. Huck.
Oh, Hak. Acha, Hak.
Small pieces of wood. Huck.
Hak. Acha.
Then
Hak.
Kashmiri Pandits and Kashmiri Muslims would go to the stores, forest depots, look for the hatab timber
Oh,
that would give lot of heat. That would be durable hatab stove. Then there is story how stove troubled. Then heaters. Then power theft in Kashmir. These are all these things connected in this essay.
and Gandolo? Gandolo is a very
Gandolo
common.
is a typical name. Anybody he had no nickname, people would start calling me Gandolo.
Yeah, Gandolo.
There is an essay on
What a
Gandolo.
great humor Kashmiris have. Oh my God.
Onions
Okay.
and potatoes. Generally,
And I
carpenters would bring this in the tiffin. I would see carpenters, if we engaged a carpenter in the house, his dish was Gandolo.
Gandolo. Okay, Gandolo
Gandolo.
is
They
okay.
would onions and potatoes. They would
And I have been to Karanagar in that great house, huge house where Nanbab stayed, and my mother told me to go in front of him, and he was so unpredictable. He told his assistant to write "क्या था अफसार pass," and he did it
Yes.
good. My mother was so happy. Yeah, मैं जितने से good पक बने near हो. So what? Tell us something about Nanbab.
Nandbab was a Mastana.
He was a Mastan.
Mastana. People would go to him. He would talk in his own words and codes, and they had to decipher these codes. They had to interpret these codes. There were some people who could understand what he's saying.
Okay.
Sometimes he would cry, "Kharj daftar." That means somebody has to be thrown out. He has to be suspended, dismissed from the job.
Popular
Sometimes
bichara.
it so happened. People were afraid to go to him because he's a Mastana. He says everything. I was told by Hamid Bakshi that Bakshi Saab was visiting Nanba, Bakshi Saab also, Bakshi Ghulam, the Prime Minister of Kashmir. I was
Yes.
told by Abdul Hamid Bakshi, Bakshi Saab's younger brother. I knew him that he was also going to his place, Nanbab. That one day he took Nanbab to Pahalgam. He sat in Pahalgam for 5 minutes, told him to come back, we'll go back. He was erratic, restless, Nanbab.
Okay.
Then they came down at near Badami Bagh. Nanbab got down from the jeep.
Did a cross.
He had a felt and stick in hand and told Abdul Hamid Bakshi, come down. He marked a plot. He said, Yeten Bani Taj Mahal, crossed it. And then Hamid Bakshi told me after some time we decided to build a hotel over there. And that
Oh,
came true.
I've heard many stories about
Shangri-La Hotel, the stop was encircled on the land by Nanbab. That is
Nanbab.
What Abdul Bakshi told me. That type of Mastana he was.
Yes, I've heard great stories about him. I mean, we cannot talk about because he was must have something spirituality into him. But there are some very ludicrous anecdotes about him, which I've heard from the lot many people. And who was the Jagannath in charge? Were in charge.
Ur in charge, Jagannath was in charge. Ura, he had a typical role. We see in Kashmiri Pandit marriages, in Muslim marriage also, a person who generally was idle, who had nothing to do, he would be made in charge of Ura. You are the cooking kitchen,
Hmm.
the temporary cooking kitchen that was created for a marriage, he would be made in charge. He would feel elated. He would pass on the cigarettes and all that, the rum and all that to cook.
Okay.
He was in charge of the store you have to pass on. He would feel important. I have built a story on that, Ura in charge, what he did. Better read it. People should
People
read
should read the book. People should
it.
read. They should buy and read this book. This is a wonderful book. This will give you so much insights. And Mota Saab, I missed in on. I don't know. I remember during when I was scrolling this book yesterday, I found that there you talked about some tailor, Kashmiri Pandit tailor shop.
Yes,
There is
yes,
something
yes.
about first tailor
Yeah,
shop.
tailoring was abhorred profession. People did not like Kashmiri Pandits going into the tailoring shops. If there was a tailor, he would also remain unmarried because because of the profession was not liked by Kashmiri Pandit society. Their
But
tailoring is not a profession.
AK Hangal was a tailor. AK Handel was a tailor. AK Hangal, the great
Ah, he
actor.
was a tailor, but he was not living in Kashmiri society as such in Srinagar.
Oh, yeah.
And it changed later on. One Tiku family from downtown, the person built road Banihal Khat Road is an engineer. He sent his son to Bombay for
Yeah.
engineering. The boy did not do engineering. He learned tailoring. When he came back, he opened a tailoring shop.
Oh,
The shop did very well in Lal Chowk. He opened three branches, one in Habakadal, one in Lal Chowk.
it
After
became passionate.
47, after 40, he had English clientele. After 47, the shop had to be closed because the English clients they went away, and the Muslims who were trained in the shop they opened different shops. They became
They
successful.
were the
They became-
further
Uh,
disciples of
there was a tailoring shop in Habakada, also Lakshmi Tailors, but very Kashmiri Pandits did not join this profession. I have written a story about this Tikku
that.
tailors so that people must read this story.
Must read this book as well. And AK Hangal, I knew that he only I mean,
Ah, he
this
had a shop.
for these no diplomats. He only did the job of diplomats. Their suits, no
Yes.
local clientage. Even for AK Hangal, मतलब उनके जो clientage थे, they were very high European Americans diplomats who used to come to the country at that time. Anyway, we'll just move on. Before we move on to your second chapter, your travel log today, I would like to say there are many books you are yet into your pipeline. You have yet to complete those and present. Tell us something about your coming books and coming, ventures
See,
for the
I
audience.
have a manuscript ready, that is Journey of Art in Kashmir from Burzahama to this state. As you know, a book on art is very expensive. If you don't have readers, you don't get even 40%, 20% of what you invest in a book. You
Investment.
don't, you are hesitant to invest money in a book because this publishing is a game now. Many unscrupulous publishers have come there. Even authors, new authors, established authors, they are hoodwinked. You have to pay for writing. Say a book on art like for which manuscript is ready, it costs around 2 lakhs of rupees to publish 300 copies. Uh, because you have to publish on art paper, I have a colored photograph. It is a
Paints.
rare. It is once it comes out, it will be a rare book because the museums that I visited the world over, it has photographs, and I have located Kashmiri artifacts in those museums and put it over here. Many things which I
You
need
have
not tell over here.
traveled
Uh,
across, Mota Sahib has traveled across the globe and went into the best possible
I
museum,
covered in, and I'll see. I'm
artifacts.
for trying to find a promoter for a financier for this book. If we'll publish, if not, then I'll publish it. But people must read this book also. Then this second book that I have completed is 11 unforgettable visitors travelers to Kashmir.
Oh,
It
that's so
has
beautiful. That's
it's a research oriented book. You will not know what for they came, what they did in Kashmir. I have only covered 20th century travelers visitors. It
20th century.
includes Gandhi, it includes Vinoba Bhave, it
Got it.
includes the
Tagore.
David Lean, director David
David
Lean.
Lean, filmmaker,
Yes,
yeah.
it includes Swami Vivekananda. I have completed
Tagore.
this book from sources other than Kashmir. Say, for example, on David Lean, I have tried to locate what David Lean himself has written about his Kashmir visit, or
Notes on
what
Kashmir.
writers in foreign countries have written about David Lean's Kashmir visit. And then there is a book on oral, there is an essay on Oral Stain, there is a
Oral State.
essay on Kendall Biscu, there is a essay on
Kendall.
Firaq Gorakhpuri. Firaq Gorakhpuri, he has also visited Kashmir, attended Mushairas. Uh, I think he is the tallest Urdu poet who is underrated, Firaq Gorakhpuri.
He's
Very big,
underrated. He's
huge,
not
very
among
huge,
contemporaries.
very
Yes.
big poet he is. Very big. I consider him he the colossus of Urdu poet in India. After
Most.
Mir, after Ghalib, I will come to Firaq only.
Mhm.
Then there's an essay on Dilip Kumar. There is essay on New Brothers, of whom
Oh,
I
that is
talked.
very. That's a tribute. That is a must. We must return.
11 unusual travelers to Kashmir and their contribution. Of course, there's an essay on V.S. Naipaul also. He stayed in
Yes,
Kashmir
Naipaul has
for
visited Kashmir.
half 4 5 months, and his book, The Area of Darkness, An Area of Darkness.
Area of darkness.
50% of
Yes.
book is on Kashmir, Kashmiri habits and traits and satire and the stories and Kashmiris
Yes,
and
Naipaul is a wonderful man from Trinidad and how much he loved India and Kashmir. I mean, I
so
know.
these are two books. Then I am writing a book on my travels to France, travelogue. It's a travelogue to Paris.
Yes.
What I saw there, how people interact, what is the social life in Paris, what are things worth seeing.
So,
Then, then there's another book, very serious book that I am writing, Influence of Shiv Sutra on Kashmiri Behavior and Conduct. Shiv
Kannada,
Sutras of Rishi Vasugupta.
in
There are
Kannada.
77 Shiv Sutras, one line, two line, three line, four line Shiv Sutras.
Okay.
My friend and our professor, Mimai Zafar, has translated these Shiv Sutras of Rishi Vasugupta. They were written in
What?
Kashmir, these sutras, to Kashmiri. So I find the influence of Shiv Sutras on Kashmiri psych, Kashmiri conduct, Kashmiri behavior. I have tried to document them. I'm starting. It will take time. It's a very serious work. I have to
Okay.
consult many people.
It needs a
I've
not much consultation. You
say
cannot go ahead.
I will
Just
say, for example, there's one line, one sutra. Only awakening is the knowledge. You don't need to be literate. You don't need to be educated. You don't need to go to school, college. Awakening is the knowledge. This is the
wisdom.
Shiv Sutra.
That
Only
is
awakening is the knowledge. Now listen, we have Mahatma Lakshman, Mahatma Krishnaju Razdan. There's a poem by him, Hosh Dim Lagyo Pamposhpadan, Ha Sadhan Hin Sadolo. He only says, Hosh Dim, give me awakening. That is the
Amen.
real knowledge. So indirectly, it comes from Shiv Sutra. Or you have Samadvir
So
saying, पढ़ पढ़ के गया पत्थर लिख लिख के गया चोर जिस पढ़ने से साहिब मिले वो पढ़ना है कुछ और the real knowledge that is awakening the education the literary knowledge that is not the real knowledge so these things have had a role they have affected they have influenced Kashmiri poets Kashmiri citizens Kashmiri
way of
writers
life,
Kashmiri
way of
way of
life, and
life behavior conduct I
generations,
have I'm
generations.
trying to find out how these Shiv Sutras have affected Kashmiri thought, Kashmiri conduct,
Psych,
Kashmiri behavior,
psych, and
Kashmiri
understanding.
poets, Kashmiri everything. This is a serious work. This I am
That's
also doing simultaneously.
that needs
So
that's
these are
that
the books that are these are in pipeline.
that's the area you need a great attention. So let's come down to France now. A travelogue after a pretty long time, and we are doing a travelogue with. I mean, it's not a travelogue; it's a literary discourse about the travelogue, and we'll discuss some main features about the travelogue. France, is a wonderful place. I remember France from the Gurdat's times, films and Chatterjee Ray. We came to know about the France when we were young in school. And France, the place of connoisseurs, the creators, the philosophers, the painters, Camus, from Camus to we spoke of Leonardo Vinci and all these great people, Vincent van Gogh, and then present France is not it's a replica it's a miniature of what French civilization was. It's a depiction of French civilization. You have the classical museums over there, and you have so much to do in terms of culture. And French are a wonderful people in their appearance as well as in their habits as well as their thought process. So what have you to say about France, because you went to France very recently and you've spent a lot of time there?
I stayed in Paris essentially for more than 2 months with my son and his wife. She is a French lady.
Yeah, आपकी
Yeah,
बहू फ्रेंच है.
she's a
This way.
French lady. I stayed with them. I and my wife stayed with them. So it was something a real experience, uh, exposure to a different world. I will not say about the Eiffel Tower and the other things that people go and see
Tower, yeah,
uh, in France. I will say it is a center of art of the world. If you have to know what art is, you have to visit France. It's a
visit.
theater. It's a center of theater. It's a center of music. A center of world sculpture, architecture. The concept of liberty, human liberty, individual liberty, emerged from
Emancipation,
France. Emerged from France. The equality, fraternity, brotherhood. It came from France. Fashion, it came from
fashion,
the
French
fashion came
industry,
from France. The philosophy, any school of philosophy you
all.
discuss, it will be incomplete unless you discuss the
Sartre
French
to Camus
contribution.
to anyone, yeah.
Aesthetics, cinema, you can't discuss world cinema unless you discuss
Without
French
French
cinema.
films.
Yes, the palaces, the museums, the open-minded people of France, the conscious heritage, the caves culture, the cave culture in France, enormous. I stayed in America also for many months. I went to America 5, 6 times. I stayed in France also. But the difference is that in France, of course, not in Paris city. In Paris city, you have 50, 60, 70, 80% people who are outsiders. They
Migrate,
come,
yeah,
they are
migrate
migrants in Paris city itself. But the moment you move outside Paris and you see the
villages.
real
Town,
French people, go to the Alps side. Say we went to Grenoble, we stayed in the Alps, French Alps, Grenoble.
Alps.
You really come to know what is the French life, how the people are. The French people, unlike the other people in the Europe, they want to communicate. They want to talk. They want to talk with the people in trains, in markets, in buses, in malls. They will talk, communicate.
Communication.
They, communication is the basic quality that French people have. They
And
want to
they are so
communicate.
eloquent. They are so eloquent, so sophisticated.
Yes, yes. I'll tell you. Second thing is that liberty is very important. You must respect individual liberty. You cannot uh, try to pull them down, try to encroach their individual liberty is to be maintained. You must understand liberty because France is center of it gave individual liberty concept to the world. The existential philosophy, individual liberty, it has to be respect individual liberty. Yes,
Yeah.
they French people they love yoga, they love Shiva, they love Tantra, they love Bhagavad Gita. I met some people in France, intellectual, some well-read people, French people, not the immigrants outside. The first gift that they want you to give them is, can you give me some Bhagavad Gita? Bhagavad Gita, where to buy? Instantly, I had taken with me 3, 4 copies of
It's become
talks on
popular
Bhagavad.
because of Modi ji
Yes,
also now. Modi ji, wherever he
talks on
goes.
Bhagavad Gita by Vinoba Bhave. Vinoba
Oh,
Bhave.
that's a
Ve-
wonderful one. I've
Very
got the
cheap
copy.
book, very cheap, 100 rupees, but it's a wonderful book.
It's
Talks
a
on Bhagavad.
wonderful. I've
To
got this book.
some people, I gave that present.
Yeah.
I gave that present. They read a lot. They listen to music. Say in a departmental store, the name of the store was Franprix, Monoprix, Franprix. This is a chain of stores in France, Paris. I saw there was a French woman, Camille was her name.
Emily.
I found she was cashier, attending customers, receiving money, payment cards, delivering goods. The moment she became free of that, she would read Camus' book outside.
Oh,
You can't imagine a cashier, a clerk, or on the counter reading Albert Camus, such serious philosophy of life while performing duties. They read a lot. The real friend, they read a lot. They have a sweet mouth. They like sweets. Chocolat, they call chocolate chocolat. Chocolat, variety of chocolates. Variety of
chocolate.
chocolates they eat. Muffins. In the early morning hours, like Kashmiri bakery shops. The bakery shops open in France. People go there and buy the baguette, the long bread, a different type of bread. They go, they buy eggs, they buy the baguette, they buy the milk. Like we go to the bakery shops in Kashmir early in the morning with a bag and something, they buy baguettes. They make fresh, hot baguettes. So France was a different experience. And the one thing I saw, the cemeteries, the burial grounds, they are not something to be afraid of in France. They are tourist centers. People throng these cemeteries. So, say for example, I saw Jean Paul Sartre's grave. I saw Baudelaire's grave. I
I've
saw
seen a
guy.
photograph, your photograph with the Jane Paul
I have
Sartre's
sent you a
grave.
photograph. Jean Paul Sartre
Yeah.
went there. Put my people go and put their train tickets over there in that grave
How
on
are these
that
graves
tomb.
different from Indian graves? How are these graveyards different from Indian
They are
graveyards?
visited by people. They have flowers in the graveyards. You have roads. You have flowers. You have toilets. People go with
Cultivated
snacks.
foods,
There
landscape.
is
Yeah.
nothing to be like. See, in our
Scared.
childhood, my mother used, my father used to say, "Don't go to Zenakadal." My mother's parental house was in Zenakadal. Don't go via Malka because there are jinns in Malka. Malka was a burial ground at Ranavari. So if you had to go to Zenakadal, you have to walk through Malka. Don't go via Malka. Go the other way. Go via Khanyar. It was a longer. Why I would tell why? Because there are jinns. So
There are
no jinn in cemeteries of. They are tourist places. There,
no.
I went to Monta Parsonage Cemetery, saw Jean-Paul Sartre's tomb, saw Baudelaire's tomb, saw Guy de Maupassant's tomb, saw Simon de Beauvoir's tomb. Similarly, Pere Lachaise Cemetery. You have J.R.D. Tata there, Edith Piaf tomb, Chopin, Jim Morrison, Oscar Wilde. They
Oh,
are decorated. They are decorated tombs. People visit there every day. Tourist buses directly enter the cemeteries.
shops.
They directly
There.
enter with cemeteries. People come with flowers, the ticket. They visit. Tourists going there, sitting, taking coffee, tea, snacks. So these I saw the cemeteries, burial grounds have been developed as tourist centers in France. And
Mo- yeah.
yes, yes,
What is up?
yes, yes,
First of all, I'd like to interrupt here. As such, Raza has lived in Paris and he has
yes,
flourished from Paris. And when he went dry, probably when he lost all his that vigor to paint. Then he came back to the Vedic sciences, and and he tried to reinvent the cipher and zero, and then the whole story goes and on and on, and the whole build impressionist and expressionist art. But tell me something. HSS are still relevant there in France. What are the takeaways of HSS's legacy in the France?
Incidentally, I was in Paris in May 2023, April, May, and June. Incidentally, during those days, there's a Pompidou Center, a huge complex Pompidou Center, art. They
Okay.
display art, they display fashion, music, everything is displayed over there. It has, it is a new style of architecture, Pompidou Center. There was
Okay.
an exhibition of paintings of S.H. Raza. S.H. Raza is very popular in Paris. He lived in Paris for more than 20 years, married a fellow artist. She was a Parsian girl.
French.
Yeah.
French.
When she died, I think she died in 2010. He came back to India. And Raza is very popular in France. Any person who is an art lover knows who is Raza.
Those are
Yes, Raza is known for his Tantra paintings, for his Bindu, for his many
been
paintings. In that exhibition at Pompidou Center, I saw two Kashmiri landscapes. One Bohri Kadal, that has been done by Raza when he was in Kashmir.
he was in Kashmir, yeah.
Kashmir. He was in
Summer
Kashmir in 40s,
school.
late 40s, helping TN, this Trilok Koul and others to
Local.
create progressive artist association in Kashmir.
Progressive,
He was
progressive
in,
artist
yes,
association. Yeah.
he did those landscapes. Two landscapes were displayed in the Pompidou Center in May
So
23. One was Kashmir landscape of some hill station, and then second Bohri Kadal.
Bohri Kadal,
And then
one
uh, Uddo Man Nahi Das Piece. This was a painting, Raza's.
Razas.
Very important paintings. The Bindus were displayed in that exhibition.
Bindu
So
was his later part of his work was on Bindu,
yes,
around Bindu and
yes,
all.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. And there I came to know that Raza had learned Sanskrit also. Apart from Hindi, Raza had learned Sanskrit also.
Yeah, he
He
was.
was an ambassador of Indic civilization in Paris. Indic civilization in Paris.
Ah,
Raza.
he has got Padma Bhushan, Padma Vibhushan. I mean, he's the only person
Yes,
who's
yes,
got so
yes.
many awards in India as well.
People know him. People know him. They respect his art. It was thronged by this exhibition was thronged by people from Paris.
Did you go to the Louvre, the world's largest museum?
Yes. I went to Lou. They call it Lou. Lou.
Louvre.
We are in French.
French
They
call
call
it
it
Louvre.
Lou. It,
Americans call
it
it
is.
Louvre.
Uh,
Yeah.
it has around 6.5 lakh artifacts. Any
Oh, it's
painting, any school of painting, it is there. Anything is there. 35,000 to 40,000 are on display. Uh, it used to
40,000.
be,
My
yes, it
enormous,
used to,
colossal.
it is in this heart of Paris, one of the biggest art collection museums in the world, Louvre. Unless if you have been in Paris, you have not visited Louvre, there is no purpose of being in the Paris. So you have to do good amount of homework. What I have to see in the Louvre. You just go inside, and because the moment the tickets open, the doors open Louvre at 9 a.m. People rush straight away go to the Mona Lisa.
Oh my
The
goodness.
the room that Mona Lisa is displayed, immediately crowds rush. You have to find your way to see Mona Lisa. But I didn't. I had done homework. I saw the Venus de Mello. I saw Liberty painting, Liberty leading people in the French Revolution. I saw Code of Hammurabi done on a stone pillar. Of
I
course,
don't,
I saw Mona
I
Lisa.
don't want to sound controversial. Our Ravi Verma's paintings of the women are more beautiful than the Mona Lisa.
Something is there because the painting is insured. You know how much is the annual? It is 350 crores of rupees. The annual
My
premium that is paid for annual insurance of the Mona Lisa painting against theft, burglary. It should not
my
be
goodness.
stolen. 350 crores is the amount of premium that is paid.
And you have paintings
Roughly
of Vincent Van Gogh also?
every painting is there. Every painting. This has three wings: Richelieu wing, Denon wing, Sully wing. You must know which wing you have to visit. You have to do homework. What you have
Because
to
you have
see
to
in that
over
wing.
here. Yeah.
Each wing has three floors. four floors, sometimes four floors. So it's a huge, huge. You have shawls, you have tapestries, you have furniture, you have jewelry, you have sculpture, you have painting, you have apparels. Everything is on display in Louvre.
Parisians, I mean, imported shawls from Kashmir. They allowed shawls from Kashmir. Do they still import shawls?
Shawl, there's a story how Shawl went to Kashmir.
Okay.
The
To
Shawl
France.
went from Kashmir to France.
Hmm.
There are two routes. There are two
Okay.
routes. One, the Silk Route
Silk
that
Road.
ended Silk Route from China, Central Asia, that took you up to Palmyra in Syria. That was the last outpost of uh, Roman Empire.
Yeah, Roman Empire. Yeah.
From that, people took shawl to Europe. This is the one route. How Kashmiri Pashmina shawl went to Europe, because Kashmiri Pashmina shawl traders, they would travel on this Silk Route. They have gone up to Syria also. From Syria, these shawls went to Egypt. They went to then from Egypt. Napoleon did many adventures in Egypt, many wars. He many wars he fought in the Egypt, and he would be gifted these Kashmiri Pashmina shawls by Egyptian generals,
Oh,
and he would give these
that's a
shawls to
wonderful story.
his wife
Amazing.
Josephine. He would give these shawls to Josephine. So Kashmiri Pashmina shawl went from Silk Route, Palmyra to Egypt, and then coming to Napoleon troops, his
Bonaparte.
generals coming to Egypt, they would be gifted these shawls, and in turn Napoleon gifted them to Josephine, his wife. And it said that Josephine had 60 Pashmina shawls. Pashmina. She
That's
would wear the lower garment also made of Pashmina, Josephine. I have seen paintings in Louvre Museum that shows Josephine wearing Pashmina shawl, Pashmina lower garments. The second route of travel of Pashmina shawl is through Maharaja Ranjit Singh. You know,
Maharaja.
Maharaja Ranjit Singh had two French generals in his army, Jean Francois Allard and Jean Ventura. Both of them were France. They would be gifted. Maharaja Ranjit Singh himself was a lover of Kashmiri Pashmina. He would make Kashmiri Pashmina shawls on order. These two generals, they bought Pashmina shawls as and when they went to France. They gifted them to Josephine, to
Josephine.
Napoleon, to other elite people in France. So this is one route. How Pashmina shawls traveled to Europe. From Europe, it went to England. From England to all the countries of Europe.
You also visited Cafe de Flora,
Oh, Cafe
where
de
the
Floral.
yeah, where the Picasso, Sartre, Camus, they all used to be regular visitors once.
Yes, yes. Cafe de Flora is a very important cafe. Cafe culture is in France. If you move out of your house, you have cafes. Cafe means where coffee. Coffee. People in France don't take tea. Coffee. They is tea. Tea is black tea, not the way we take tea over here.
Tea with the milk.
Sparingly people take tea, but cafe coffees and you have many cafes. Cafe de Flora is Saint Germain des Prés is a locality. It's over there, a huge cafe on the corner of it. It was an intellectual cafe where people like Albert Camus, Roman Polanski, Jean-Paul Sartre, Arthur Koestler, Simon de Beauvoir, Hemingway, Jane Fonda,
Jane Fonda.
Descartes. Jane Fonda, as and when in Paris, they would go to this cafe. So
Correct.
in that cafe, they have boards, photographs of these people. In fact,
Oh,
Jean Paul Sartre had booked a room. He would go to his house, take a bath, come back to the Cafe de Flore and work from that place. Work from right there, a room over there, take his lunch, dinner, morning breakfast in the Cafe de Flore. There would be discussion, intellectual discussions, Picasso coming, many people. So they have preserved these photographs. It was almost a pilgrimage for me to visit Cafe de Flore. I've sent you photograph also, Cafe de Flore.
yeah, the photograph. We'll do
There's
the
a
photograph.
different owner, but tourists come to see the Cafe de Flore. Where did Jean Paul Sartre sit? Where did Camus sit? Where did they have the brawl when they broke up? Where did Ernest Hemingway sit? Where did Picasso sit? So it's a very
What do
important.
they?
And then
What do they? What is?
Faiz Ahmad
Yeah.
Faiz, as and when he was in Paris, he was also visit Cafe de Flore. Ram Kumar, Indian artist. S.H. Raza, So many people, so many people, so many
What
people.
do what do Parisians think of about us Indians? How do they think about us? What do they
I
think
think
about
great,
us?
great, great, great. They have a tremendous respect for the Indian civilization. I told you
Yes.
the yoga, the tantra, the yoga, the philosophy, and of course lately the Upanishads. Upanishads.
Upanishad.
Ah, there is an Indian writer Sharat Chandra.
Arey,
She
wow.
said that she said that she writes in French. She
Okay.
said that Camus' thought has been influenced by Indian Upanishads,
Yeah.
especially Katha Upanishad, and it has
Kathopanishad.
been confirmed. It has been confirmed by Madame Catherine Camus, Camus' daughter, that she had seen a book of Katha Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita in Camus' library that were written in French. See, Upanishads went to after this Darashiko got them translated into Persian.
Persian. Yeah.
They were immediately translated into French by some French
Kashmir.
scholars.
He did it in Kashmir, probably.
He did
He
in
was
Delhi also. He did in Delhi, Kashmir. That I don't
Kashmir.
know, but he was the first Mughal who got them translated into
He
Persian.
was influenced by saints, and
Ah.
they inspired him to translate. Yeah.
Then they traveled to from they traveled to France. They were translated to French. And you know, Camus was influenced by Schopenhauer, philosopher. Schopenhauer
Yes.
or Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, and Schopenhauer is influenced by Upanishads. He's a lover of Upanishads. He admits, he writes about Upanishads. And in Camus' library, Sharat Chandra says, and Camus' daughter also, Catherine, says that he had French, seen Bhagavad Gita in French, seen some Upanishad book on Upanishad. So that means Camus had read Upanishads. And in a way, Sharat Chandra establishes that Camus' philosophy is based essentially on the message of Upanishads.
Message of
Most,
Upanishads.
most essentially
They're
the
all,
Katha Upanishad.
one way or the other, they are all influenced by
Now
Upanishads.
you have Max Muller, you have Walt Whitman, you have Henry David Thoreau,
Walt,
you have Warren Hastings,
okay.
R.W. Emerson, you have Dara Shikoh. They are lovers of Upanishads, the Indian Upanishads. Upanishads. I will
Well,
tell
for
you
the
something interesting.
yes, please.
I had taken Patisa from Jammu to Paris. See, Parsians, Paris people,
Kodwala Patisa?
Prem Patisa from Kud.
Prem Patisa. Okay.
It was loved by everybody. Whosoever took it, they said that this is something that we miss here. Because people in Paris take sweets, lot of sweets they take. They take
Yeah, sweet.
chocolates, they
Like
take
Bengal.
muffins, they take pastries, they take
Often.
many other things. They take many other things that are sweet. So patisa was something different. They loved it. They said if somebody opens a shop of patisa in Paris, it will be a hit.
That the Prem will be hearing about that. He will just open it up
Yes,
nowadays. And Mota Sahab, I would like to because we have to move further. I would like to say, if you want to add on something about your French travelogue, uh, let me know about one darker aspect of it, that a lot of our Indians who go by these illegal routes to France, they are being trapped up there. We have heard the stories. You also discussed the other day. Tell us something about this dark aspect of we Indians going there illegally and trapped by these middlemen and being taken, I mean, to
that
those
is
places
something
where they
very, very unfortunate. I felt pained. Actually, I felt pained when I saw this thing. Practically on ground, I saw talk to 2 3 persons. Most of them, 90% of them, is illegal immigrants. They come from Punjab, from rural Punjab. Very miserable life they lead. Most of them lead. A few of them who are lucky enough to get documents made, to get their resident status updated, they may live happily, but others live a miserable life. Very unfortunate. I saw the illiterate people of Punjab selling mineral water outside parks,
that's very shocking,
outside
very stark.
outside Louvre, €1. They run after people, buy €1, mineral water. And I saw in the Champs, that garden is near Eiffel Tower. Champs de Mars, something like that they call it. They sell wine also to people. They come late because the police is after them. They come late around 11, by 11, police makes around. They come, they sell mineral water, they sell. I talked to 2 3 people. most of them have come from a very torturous route.
My
They
God.
have come from Ukraine. One person told me that now he repents. Why did he come here? But he cannot go back because his passports. He's an illegal resident in France because his passports have been taken over by the gang who sponsored his visit,
Oh,
in the hope that they will give him documentation. Portugal. They used to go to Portugal was a country where these people would go, and then they after some stay they would create documents. But it's very difficult now. So most of them run here and there. They
very
he
tragic.
told me that after selling land for 60 to 65 lakhs, he was brought to Soviet Russia. From that, they had to walk through Ukraine. They
My
would
God.
sleep during the day, and during the night they would walk like donkeys, miles of
My
so exhausted. Sometimes hungry, they would keep on walking. They would thrown into the border of the Ukraine. Now that track is also closed. That route is closed because of the war. And then they
because
would
of
slip into the Europe through Romania. Then they would enter Portugal. In Portugal, they would be made to work by these unscrupulous agents for 18 hours a day for peanuts. Then their
my
passports would be taken, and then they would roam here and there, most of them. And one day, one person told me that 10 of them live together in a room. One person cooks. They earn around 800, now 900 euros per month. They spend 400, 500 euros, 300, 400 euros they send back every month to their home. But their life is miserable. They have to work hard.
there
They
is
have
no
to.
there is no, I mean, help from the extradition, some extradition treaty about these
I
people.
think in India there should be a large scale education on this aspect that this is nonsense. People should stop sending
Forbidden.
sending
They
their
should be
children to this hell of a life, to work like donkeys for 18 hours a day and to sell mineral water bottles outside.
trapped. Yeah.
It's better to work here in India. It's better to work here in India. What is the craze of selling your property, selling everything, and then
Going.
trekking all these long routes, unauthorized routes, and sometimes being caught and put in jails, and sometimes roaming like this. One day,
That's
I was traveling from Châtelet to our house. I saw a Punjabi gentleman weeping in a tram. So there was a lady sitting next to me in the language French, because in French she told me what is. She she said something in French. I didn't understand. I said, I don't know why he's weeping. She wanted to convey why he's weeping. Then I told the gentleman, ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਕਿਉਂ ਰੋਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ.
Punjabi mein
Then
bola.
he Punjabi I spoke in. Then he told me, "Are you from Punjab?" I said, "Yes, I'm from Punjab." Then he told me
Hmm.
that he received a message his father is dead, but he can't go. He is illegal immigrant. He has no passport. If he tries to go, he'll be caught by police. He'll be put in the
Oh my,
jail. The miserable life that he's leading here. So there's nothing. He's weeping. He wanted to join the funeral of his father.
oh my God. That's
His
very
father
horrific.
sold land. It's a horrific. There should be a campaign, education campaign in India, especially in Punjab,
Education
in rural
company,
Punjab,
awareness,
that
especially
don't
in
send your
Punjab,
children
especially
to this
Punjab,
nonsense
UP,
life.
and other.
If you receive back 300 euros, 400 euros, it is their blood. The poor guys, boys are
That's
just
such.
setting
They're
it,
selling their
living this
fertile
miserable life
land.
over
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
What can do? They were the one boy told me that many people who come by the direct route, educated route, the engineers were happy that Indian engineers are coming to France. They're educated, they are doing well, but they don't look at us. They don't look. They don't talk to us. They feel it below dignity to
To
talk
their
to us.
dignity. Yeah. That's what
Talk
we
to us.
Indians all
They
have, this nature, innate
but
nature.
the NGOs in India must go for a
Work
strong
towards it.
campaign to stop this nonsense. To stop this nonsense.
Mota sir, now would you like to add anything on France before we go to the photo tour? I want to go to a photo tour, short photo
Yes,
tour
show
that
the
we can.
photo tour. It's, I
Okay.
think, enough.
Thank you very much. I'll just begin with the photo tour. You can just explain. I will remain mum. This is Pran Kishore's book. You are
This
probably
is book. Yes, I spoke there. This is book
Apagaton.
inauguration of Pran Kishore. Yes, Sabakat.
And
This not my photo.
these are, sorry. These are the other photos. Oh, sorry.
This is the
These
book.
are not essays.
Yes, yes, yes,
Essays that may change your belief. I've talked
yes,
to
yes,
you.
yes.
And this is you are being honored by Samapa
Yes, Samapa Awards. This is the book you missed to read.
book you missed to read. There, the and this is
This is
the
the
Shikara
shikaras in the frozen lake.
Thousand Lake. This is you and your missus and your
Yes,
children
yes, the family, my son and his
in
family.
France,
Yes,
Paris.
France. This is outside on the Seine bank. This is in Paris. The
This is
structure
in
of the
Paris.
building, this is known as Haussmann architecture. This is
What
a field
architecture?
Haussmann architecture.
Okay.
Napoleon demolished the entire France city and built boulevards, roads, trees. A typical architecture known as Haussmann architecture. Haussmann was the
Oh,
person who did this. The entire Paris.
this is Paris. This is the
This
Eiffel
is
Tower.
yes, Eiffel Tower.
French
This is
artist.
Montmartre, a person who plays on the roadside musician in Montmartre.
Montemart.
It's a hill in the Paris city. This is the Pompidou Center where Azar's exhibition was held.
Oh my God,
See
that's
the
wonderful.
architecture of the building. It is open type of architecture.
And these are your kids, grandkids,
Yes,
grandchildren,
grandkids. Yes.
and grandchildren here with your wife
My wife
probably.
with the grandchildren. Yes. This is a painting in Louvre. See the Kashmiri shawl. The 70,
Oh,
18th century, 19th century artists started painting elite ladies from the upper strata of society with Kashmiri Pashmina shawls. You can see
Kashmiri
Kashmiri
was
Pashmina shawls. This is a painting. The ladies are
really
wearing Kashmiri Pashmina shawls.
fashionable in those days, no?
This is my son's, his family. This is my wife,
Your son, his
Sandeep.
wife, and your
This is
family,
in,
and you all.
this is the Versailles Museum, Versailles. This is the
Acha,
glass house, glass house. This is Seine River in Paris.
oh, beautiful. Mona
This is the
Lisa.
Mona Lisa, where people rush the moment Louvre Museum. This is inside Versailles Museum. This is inside Louvre Museum. This is the pillar, stone pillar, Code of Hammurabi. I'm standing there inside Louvre Museum. This is
This,
the
the
inside
statue of
Louvre
the
Museum. Venus de Mello. This painting is this sculpture is known as Venus de Mello. The prettiest face, Greek face. This is
Mona
Mona
Lisa
Lisa.
again.
This is in the Mona Lisa Hall, the room Mona Lisa room. This is in the Paris. Behind you can see the Haussmann architecture buildings.
Yeah, that's a wonderful, beautiful one.
This is a monument. This is the entrance to Louvre Museum, the Pyramid Gate.
Oh. You are riding probably
This is
uh,
we are in a
chairlift.
lift going up the hill in
Okay.
Grenoble, Alps. This is Eiffel Tower.
You, Moda Sahab, you and your missus seem to have become French here. You look like more like French in the attires.
This is we are entering Sainte Chapel, the chapel that has tinted glass, painted glass. This is again
This is
Pompidou
again
Center.
museum. Yeah.
This is I am outside the Cafe de Flore that was visited by the artists Jean-Paul Sartre, Albert Camus,
Very, very
Hemingway.
famous.
This is the grave of Jean-Paul Sartre. I am putting up my ticket. This is the grave of tomb of Jean-Paul Sartre in
You are putting up your.
Montparnasse. Yes,
This is again your family picture
this is America. This is inside the France, inside the cemetery.
inside the cemetery. Okay, okay.
Yes,
Beautiful.
this is my granddaughter. This is my granddaughter.
And Your both sons are married in France. This is Shanti Virji. Oh my
No,
God.
this is Shanti Viji.
Before, I mean,
Miss
he
him,
looks
miss him
really
very
cute.
much. Miss him is very much. I would go to
Brilliant.
him immediately for any clarification. Now I am handicapped. Where to go? Whom to ask?
He left suddenly. I didn't. He
Suddenly
went
he
and
left. This is
this
the
is Samapa honor.
Samapa Award ceremony.
Okay.
This is out in America, outside the university. This is in America. This is the train that goes to Montmartre Hill in Paris.
Oh, that's wonderful.
This is again Eiffel Tower.
Hill Tower comes here again.
This is the Sainte Chapel, the chapel with glass, the beauty of the glass. These are locks, people love locks.
Love logs.
Yes, sometimes I'll tell story on them. This is the Opera Garnier. This is Opera House. See the beauty, the paintings, the ceiling. This is the
Beautiful.
Opera House. This is evening photograph of the entrance to Louvre Museum, Paris.
Oh, my goodness. That is cubicle. That's a triangle. I mean, from
Yes,
elevation, it looks triangle and yeah, the cone and
this is Opera Garnier. This is an ice cream shop outside, very popular. Bashir, he is a man from Middle East. Excellent
oh,
ice cream. The Parsians
that's
love this ice cream. It is outside Pompidou Center, just outside a ice cream shop. Too much of crowds coming over there. Bashir's ice cream.
Bashir ice cream only.
Bashir's.
This is at
This is
Kashmir,
Kashmir Hari
Sakreshwari.
Prabha. I'm looking at that drawing,
Sakreshwari. You are looking
Sakreshwari.
at trying at Tantra, that,
Yes,
geometry.
Tantra, geometry that G.R. Santosh had traced.
This is your friend
This is
Farooq
with
Nas.
Nazki Saab.
Nazki, how is he now? Nazki Saab is fine?
He, I didn't see him for long. This is outside the Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York. This is in Paris. Sorry, UK. This is an old photograph. These are the going up
The
Grenoble.
cabins.
Yes, chair car in the Grenoble. This is Catherine Camus, daughter of Albert Camus. She lives
Oh,
700 kilometers away from Paris.
did you interact with her?
No, she was not well that day.
Okay. So, so we had a photo tour, and I thought significantly we have been able to cover these vast chapters about his anecdotes and his.
One thing I need to tell, if you have time, well, just a minute.
Yes, yes, yes.
There,
Why not?
there is there are Algerians, many Algerians in Paris. They do
Okay.
all this small time business, shops, vegetables. I would go for hair cutting to an Algerian barber, just like Kashmiri barber. I would get the feel of a Kashmiri barber. If you go to a barber who is a European barber, he would use the trimming machine. Gur, 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 in 2 minutes, your hair is cut. In that barber, his name was Abdul. Abdul. He would call himself Abdul. He was from Algeria. 20 euros he would charge for the haircut.
Okay.
And the same typical Kashmiri character of gossip, gossip at the shop, the barber shop
Gossip,
gossip. The
gupshup.
person who left the shop, he would start gossip about that person. Who is he? What is his life? What is his story? I felt amused going to that barber shop. And then
Precarious.
he had kept a shisha. You know that hookah type. The modern hookah is shisha. People come and have a puff in the shisha, and then a guy, some boy coming and picking up the comb and combing his hair and leaving without paying anything. This was a typical Kashmiri barber shop scene.
Every
That I
barber shop. Any walker can move in and use
yes,
his
yes, yes,
comb
yes.
and just have the comb resting.
And then a Middle Eastern shop, he would sell. His name was Bashir. He was selling vegetables. I tried very hard to find the kadam from him. He couldn't find it. Then I went to China shop. Then I told him about Nadru. He didn't
No, no,
understand Nadru. Then he told me,
what a
"You
step.
whatever you want, show me the photograph. I will come to know." Then one day we decided to buy quincy that we call bumsuit.
Okay. Bamsud.
I on my mobile I opened the Google and showed him the photograph of a quincy a bumsuit. He said, "Seen it? Yes, seen it. I will buy it." Next day, he bought two bumsuit shops. So the language, although he spoke French, but the communication could be carried out
Is
through using
very
internet,
important.
using gesture language. You can talk to
Nowadays,
them.
it's more easier. Nowadays, it's more easier because you can just move in these gadgets and use the internet and other facilities as well.
There are many anecdotes. Some other time we'll say because we are already late.
No, no, we'll continue. I mean, you are a part of the Shidala's conversations, the main pillar of Shidala's conversations. Rather, you inspire me every Sunday, Jugalji. What is the next? And thank you very much that you came. It was a great privilege, and our people must have been enlightened by your entire discourse about the book. And I just appeal to everyone, please, you have loved if you have loved this show and talking to and listening to Avtar Mota ji, please go and read book. And this is a very wonderful book, Shikaras in the Frozen Lake. You will get these anecdotes detail out there, which were briefly being explained by Avtar ji, and read all his other books as well as keep a habit of reading books. That's how we Kashmiri Pandits, Kashmiri Muslims Pandits, they were known from the ancient times. Now we are not living this habit, so that's not good. So let's go back to these wonderful wisdoms for which we were known across the globe and were respected. Thank you very much, Avdarji. You came and we had so much delightful experiences and insights into your travelogue and into your stories and into your recollections. Thank you
I
very much.
I I would like to conclude with two three dohas.
Doha.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
two three dohas.
You write wonderful dohas. You write wonderful
I
dohas.
I'm experimenting with writing dohas, two line poems.
Okay.
I will just in 1 minute I will take
Please,
and then we
please,
can.
please, please. I would definitely love to have it.
I would say three dohas that I have written. जीवन की भाषा समझ,
जीवन की
चलता
भाषा
फिरता
से
नाग.
चलता
जीवन
फिरता
की
नाम
भाषा समझ, चलता फिरता नाग. रंग रूप शीतल सुंदर, डंक लगे तो आग.
डंक लगे तो
Aag.
आग.
This is life. This is existence.
That's so wonderful.
Second is कोयल बोली कागा से,
कोयल
मधुर
बोली
मधुर
कागा
कुछ बोल, मधुर मधुर कुछ बोल.
कौवे से
जग
बोल रही
में
है.
जग में मीठी बोली से हर ताले को खोल.
That's beautiful.
The language that you speak, if it is
That's
sweet, you can open any door.
that's
Third, माँ की ममता बीच नहीं, the mother's love, affection. माँ की ममता बीच नहीं, धन दौलत की डोर. जो धन माँ का विरसा है, सो क्या लूटे चोर.
that's
Thank you very much.
thank
Thank
you,
you.
Avtar.
Very good
Thanks.
night.
Good night to all. Best wishes for your good health, and we go on meeting and do wonderful events together. Thanks a lot. It was a
Thank
great
you.
privilege. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you. So that was Avtarji Mota, a great friend of mine, an encyclopedia, a person with a very different way of locating these scholarly endeavors. And he has been writing since his retirement from the bank as an officer, and he has done a yeoman's service. And he is giving every day. He is giving something to the society. I don't think maybe he has a passion, but behind passion there is something more deeper, something more insightful, and probably he doesn't do it for a big name. He does it for because he loves to do it, and there's a labor of love in it. And probably we must all collect these gems of his literature, his anecdotes, his stories, and all these things, and they will be a great treasure to read. And thank you very much, all of you, the great viewers, great my co-travelers in Shitala's conversations, who have been with me since 2.5 years. And day by day, more and more people are coming to these moves which we have tried to cultivate in these 2.5 years. Thank you very much. And before I depart, I would like to have a couplet from Faiz Ahmad Faiz. दोनों जहां तेरी मोहब्बत में हार के, दोनों जहां तेरी मोहब्बत में हार के, वो जा रहा है कोई शब गम गुजार के. वीरान है मैं कदा, खुमे सागर उदास है. तुम क्या गए कि रूठ रूठ गया दिन बहार के. एक फुर्सत गुनाह मिली वो भी 4 दिन देखे हैं हमने हौसले परवरदिगार के। दुनिया ने तेरी याद से बेगाना कर दिया, तुझसे भी दिल फरेब है गम रोजगार के। बु- बुला से मुस्कुरा तो दिए, बुला से मुस्कुरा तो दिए, तो वो आज फैज मत पूछ वलवले दिल नाकारदाकार के। थैंक यू वेरी मच and good night. Have a wonderful time. We'll meet on another Sunday with another conversation. And thank you very much for being with me. Thanks a lot.